for eyes, F is in face, A for arms, S for speech, T for time to call 911. Look for changes in balance, vision, or speech, weakness in one arm, a drooping face. Learn the signs at wakemed.org/stroke, because every second counts.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back, that one going, gone!
Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Now Hall, all alone, in on Thompson. Hall scores! What a play! What a transition pass! And Taylor Hall puts Carolina back up by 2. It's 3-1. Fight for it along the boards. Hall reaches for it. He'll get it to Walker. Walker's got Roslovic with him. Walker holds, shoots, and scores! Sean Walker's first postseason goal.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one.
In the season for rainy days.
With 3:15 left here in the third.
I'm Victoria Lovenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers. And when you've been riding long...
It's the Adam Gold Show. Hi, everyone. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin is here. Do we have gremlins? We might have gremlins. Happens.
It's a lot of buttons in here, okay?
Yeah, there are. Don't talk to me about buttons. Only zippers. Hey, yeah, we have gremlins sometimes. They just sort of creep up. There's a lot of things going on. It is a busy time. We've got a lot of things to deal with. That was from game number 4, where the Hurricanes took a 3-1 lead. Boy, did the Toronto Maple Leafs stay on brand last night. Woo-hoo, boy. Oh, boy. I was actually pretty optimistic that the Leafs would play well last night going into that game. And then it was who could you not expect to score that would score for the Florida Panthers last night? It was a parade of, he scored a goal. Aaron Ekblad, legit, he scored the first one. And then it was a whole bunch of guys who scored their first playoff goal. It was A.J. Greer scored one. Mikola,
yep.
He scored one. Kulikov scored. It was until we got to Sam Bennett. Okay, he's somebody who could score. And that was the 6th goal at that point. The Toronto Maple Leafs Maple-Leafed. It was just atrocious at how bad they were. Atrocious. Anyway, we have, there's a lot going on, right? That's what I've been told.
Yeah, there's a few things going on right now. We got PJ Championship.
I have watched none of it. I haven't even seen a score. I knew early that Luke Donald was doing well. I have no idea if he's still doing well. I do have the leaderboard pulled up. I have not looked at it yet. So we will get to it sometime over the next little bit here. We should start. All right, Game 5 tonight in D.C. I'll just say it this way to the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry. We can talk Carolina Panthers here. To the Carolina Hurricanes. Don't do an X. Don't do an X. And this is not about, losing the game. It has nothing to do. You can lose the game, right? Chances are, even though the Hurricanes are favored in this game, they're favored in Game 5 in a backs-to-the-wall game for Washington against the team that was, by points, the best in the Eastern Conference. The Hurricanes are favored in the game. So you can't lose. But you have to play better than the Knicks played last night in a closeout game in Boston.
Yeah, they didn't look very convincing.
They were convincing. They convinced me, the Knicks, that they're going to lose the series. That's what the Knicks convinced me of. And I'm not saying that if Carolina loses tonight and they could get blown out tonight. Literally, I think anything could happen tonight. I'm not saying that if they lose and get blown out that they're going to lose the series. The Hurricanes have been awesome on home ice. I think Carolina would close it out Saturday. First of all, personal appeal. I could use the weekend. I could use the weekend off. Right? I mean, let's spin a grind. Anyway, but I don't think you want to do anything that gives the Capitals hope. So I don't think you want to let them get to their game and dictate and be physical, all the stuff that you know they're going to do. You want to do the same things that you have been doing, which doesn't necessarily guarantee a win, but just play the game that you have played for the most part through 12 periods plus the little early part of that overtime. Dictate the way the game is played. If you do that, even if you don't win, that's cool. That's cool. But don't do a Knicks. Just don't do a Knicks. All right? All right, now to some details. Hurricanes have, as the Carolina Hurricanes, never lost a series in which they had a 3-1 lead. Never lost like LeVar Ball. But do you think that is significant, Max? Do you think it means anything tonight?
I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of teams who have never lost up 3-1. It's statistically it's a big advantage. I don't necessarily think it means anything.
It means zero.
Yeah. You still have to win the games that are in front of you, right? So, there's obviously no guarantees if you're up 3-1. That doesn't mean you've won. Ask the Warriors in 2016. Mm-hmm. Ask the Thunder in the series before that year. I mean, that's right. That's some of the most memorable kind of just in general, not just hockey, but playoff moments that I can remember growing up is two teams blowing a 3-1 lead in the same postseason.
Warriors did it to the Thunder, and then
the Cavs did it to them. So
absolutely.
You're not safe just because you're up 3-1. You have to keep that same level of desperation up all the way through.
Thank you very much. I will also bring this to I kept hearing it in 2004 in the American League Championship Series. No team has ever come from 3-0 down to win a best-of-7 series. And guess what? It happened. So it doesn't matter. Historical data is cool, right? It's worth. I bring it up, but I always point afterwards. It also means nothing. The Hurricanes, how did they build this lead in the series? How did they get to 3-1 ahead? Depth, production from the blue line, and goaltending. If you look, in this series, the Hurricanes have 16 players with at least 1 point. What? They've only used 18 skaters. No, they used 18? I'm trying to think. When did Mark Jankowski go out?
I believe he went out during Game 2.
He go out in Game 2? Okay, so they've used 19 skaters. 16 of them have a scoring point. 16. 12 of them have at least 2 points. It has been remarkable. Nobody's got more than 3. The Hurricanes have not been like Mikko Rantanen. I think I might have shortened him a vowel, a syllable. Rantanen, yes. They have not done that to Washington here. They have done it as a team. The blue line has 4 goals. They didn't get a lot of production from the blue line in terms of goals this year. But the blue line's got 4 goals. They have 8 in the playoffs, but 4 in this series. 10 different Hurricanes have scored a goal. Of the 12 goals, 10 different people have scored, which means only 2 players have multiple goals in this series. Shane Gostisbehere and Andrei Svechnikov, and one of Svech's is an empty net marker. So they are doing it with depth, defense, and goaltending. Frederik Andersen has been great. It certainly hasn't been awful, by the way, for the top guys, but the top guys have not really been all over the score sheet every night. And speaking of top guys, here is Sebastian Aho, and I know Spencer Carberry mentioned this, I believe it was after Game 4, about how experienced even Carolina's young player, I don't know, is Sebastian Aho a young player anymore? He's been in the league, this is year 9? 9? Yeah, next year I think will be year 10. No, I think this is year 8. Next year will be year 9. So Sebastian Aho is he's one of the most experienced players. He's played 84 or some odd playoff games, and he talked about the experience.
Whenever there's a situation your back's against the wall, it's desperation comes out, and I obviously we always expect the other team to bring their best, but that's for sure what's going to happen tomorrow, and we got to be ready and dictate the game.
Yeah, you got to be ready for the Capitals to come out with all their best stuff. Top candidate for the goal of the series. Would it not be Andrei Svechnikov right off the face-off in the middle of the second period in Game 3?
Absolutely.
Holy cow. Still, my left ear is still ringing. And Andrei, also experienced, because he's been in these playoffs, although he did miss one. He missed the 23 playoffs because of the torn ACL. He understands the hardest win.
Yeah, obviously, kind of it's going to be hard, and you said it, but, last game was crucial for them as well and for us as well. So I think every game kind of hard game, but obviously, like you said, it's going to be more physical, more harder for us, but, we're ready to go. We know it's not going to be easy for us.
It will not be easy for them. Washington is going to be coming out. I think Washington's making lineup changes tonight. I think Lars Eller is coming out of the lineup tonight, which is somewhat interesting. All right, so Game 1 and to an extent Game 2, that's the blueprint for Carolina. And I'm not saying in terms of dominance. I think the blueprint for Carolina is understanding that it's 60 minutes. You're not going to win the game in the first period. You're probably not going to lose the game in the first period. And here's Rod Brindamore on sticking to the plan.
That's the trick. I mean, it's not even the trick. It's what we've been doing every day that we've been here, is focusing on what's right in front of us and trying to win that day, win that game. So that's what we have. That's the task tomorrow.
So, Game 1, Carolina dominated the first period, didn't score. Washington got the first goal a few minutes into the second period and played really well for a little bit of a stretch after that, but then Carolina continued to play, stuck to their game. They didn't cheat, they just kept playing. And then middle of the third period, still hadn't scored. Then they get the turnover, and Logan Stankoven makes it 1-1. Carolina wins the game in overtime. And it was a game where the Hurricanes just kept at it. Even though it didn't look like they were ever going to score at one point, they finally broke through. And they were the better team, deserved to win. But it's because they were able to kind of stick to their game that made it so. All right, so you know what the Hurricanes' record is under Rod Brindamore in closeout games?
I think it's pretty good. I want to say they're over 500.
They are 7-5 in closeout games in the 7 years under Rod Brindamore. They are 3-3 on the road. 3-3 on the road. They have never closed out a Game 5 on the road, though. Haven't played a lot of Game 5s on the road with an opportunity to close the series out. All right, last night we talked about the Maple Leafs. We could be looking, if Carolina wins this series and Florida wins theirs, we could be looking at a 2023 Eastern Conference Finals rematch. Florida still has to win Game 6 in Sunrise, which will be tomorrow night, and the Hurricanes obviously still have to close out their series with Washington. Meanwhile, Edmonton deleted Vegas from the playoffs last night. They win it 1-0 in overtime. They're calling it the Fortress. I didn't know they were calling I guess it was T-Mobile Arena, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were calling that arena the Fortress. It hasn't been much of one when it comes to Edmonton. The Oilers won all 3 games in Vegas.
I guess their hurricane siren didn't dispel the Oilers very well. I didn't know that Castles had hurricane sirens.
They
but
do
I
now.
guess they do.
They do now. Actually, that siren was in the TNT studios. You see Pat Maroon wind the siren the other day? Pat Maroon doesn't seem like a Hurricanes guy. He was throwing a little bit of shade, subtle shade at the Hurricanes. Like, it almost seems like, because the way Pat Maroon played, he probably fancies Washington. Big, physical, bullying style. Although Washington hasn't really been bullying in this series. I expect it tonight. We'll talk to Cam Ward later about what he expects from Washington tonight. Cam Ward will join us in hour number 3. All right, so by the way, mentioned Kasperi Kapanen scored the overtime game winner. He, of course, is the son of Hurricanes legend Sammy Kapanen. Edmonton picked him up off of waivers. That's just amazing. Picked him up off of waivers, and he scores a closeout overtime game winner. You know how many goals Vegas scored in the last 2 games?
That would be 0.
0.
On Stuart Skinner as well.
Yeah,
so
right.
Things can change in a flash for a goalie in the playoffs, I guess.
127 and 19 minutes of nothing. Nothing. And the last goal they scored was a gift. As a matter of fact, Pete Blackburn, who's a friend of this program, who does an online hockey show called What Chaos. Because if you really dig the sport, it's a really good. He's a good follow anyway on Twitter, but it's a cool show. He put out on Twitter the best joke, the absolute best joke, where he said the last goal Vegas scored in the series was Leon Draisaitl. Because Draisaitl actually scored the goal. Very, very funny. So the gentleman's sweep of the Golden Knights happened. Combined 3 goals from McDavid and Draisaitl. Not counting the one Draisaitl scored for Vegas.
That Oilers depth is looking very good, especially recently. Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Kapanen coming on. You've got Evander Kane coming on after missing
Adam Henrique
most of the season. And
right.
got Henrique down there.
They've got good, very good depth. I still, for the life of me, I don't understand why Vegas couldn't score. Edmonton, not really a defensive-minded group, but last year in the playoffs, Edmonton was great defensively, and their penalty kill was awesome. I think their penalty kill might have won them game 4, by the way, because there were tons of penalties on the Oilers, and Vegas did nothing on their power play. Dallas can polish off the Jets tonight as they head back to Winnipeg with a 3-1 series lead. All right, the NBA Draft Combine is going on. Drake Powell, formerly of UNC, told the world he is, I saw the quote, definitely staying in the draft. He has impressed with his athleticism, his length, his three-point shooting ability. He is a classic 3-and-D guy for the league, so he's going to stay in the draft. I have no idea. All the mock drafts I have seen have him going in the second round. The same for Cedric Coward, who would be a Duke Blue Devil out of the transfer portal from Washington State, but more than likely isn't ever going to suit up in Durham. And here is Cedric Coward talking about staying in the draft.
It depends. It really depends what I hear. You know, at the end of the day, what I hear is based off of the information, or the decision I'm going to make is based off the information I get. And right now, the information is definitely leaning towards staying in the draft, and I can say that. But at the end of the day, we got to figure out the best decision to make for myself and the best decision to make for my family as I go forward.
Is there a threshold that you feel like, okay, if I'm hearing I'm going to get picked above pick X, I'll stay in the draft?
Not really. I don't really have like a threshold, I guess. Like, there's definitely a range everybody would like to go in. Like, everybody would love to go top 20. You know, that would be great. And if I heard that, like, obviously. But at the end of the day, the draft is so unpredictable. You don't know, like, Dalton Knecht was projected top 10 and then went 17. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't know what could happen. But at the end of the day, for me, it's more of less the spot in terms of the number and more of the spot in terms of the team I go to and how I can make an impact right away.
So, yeah, it should be more about team than draft position. Once you get outside the lottery, there's really not a lot of difference in salary or anything like that. You're looking for opportunity. But it doesn't look like Duke's going to get Cedric Coward, who's leaning towards staying in the draft. All right, NFL schedule release day was yesterday. And first of all, the Panthers, I watched the Panthers video. And frankly, we knew the schedule, we just didn't know the order, and I'm just not necessarily like geeked about the order of the schedule, but I appreciate the creativity that some of the teams took. Actually, I think all of them seemed pretty creative, just not all teams pulled it off.
Right. It's become such a huge thing. The NFL loves to dominate the whole calendar, so it's like, all right, every team's got to make this super well-produced schedule release. It's got to be an event.
I watched the Jets was interesting but not exciting. I watched the Steelers, which was interesting but not exciting. I watched a few of them. We're going to get to the best one in a second. I thought the Panthers, at least the first half of it, really good, and it features Xavier Legette in his real voice.
Ladies and men, I appreciate y'all coming in for the secret reveal meeting. Coach told me to bring some of y'all boys in, so let's get right to the reveal.
Say, B-Rob, man, hey, I appreciate you calling the meeting, man, but I got a secret I've been meaning to tell y'all.
I appreciated the subtitles, by the way, under Xavier Legette.
This is my real voice.
This is how I really talk. When I was younger, I knew I wanted to be an American football player, so I thought having a southern accent would make people think I was tough. But the truth is, I love the finer things in life. I love fine wines and artisan cheeses. I curate works of art from around the world. And of course, appreciate a little light reading.
So good.
Is he serious?
It was so good. So he was like, I appreciate fine wines, artisan cheeses. I curate art. He was wearing a smoking jacket. He had a pipe on. What was the book he was reading? It was encyclopedia.
Something about billiards.
Yeah, billiards encyclopedia or something like that. Just totally random. Very funny. The rest of it, I thought they kind of ran out of creativity and just like, hey, here's the schedule. Whatever.
There's only so much they can milk out of the Xavier Legette voice bit.
It was great.
You definitely got to lean on that when you can, right? That's a gold mine.
Totally enjoyed it, and there you go. The GOAT of schedule release videos, everybody will remember this. When the Tennessee Titans took to Broadway in Nashville, which is famous for bachelorette parties and just people having a good time, maybe having a few adult beverages. And they went around and showed people the logos of the teams they would be playing and said, just the logos, who is this? And obviously not everybody couldn't name the logo. They only used the ones that people couldn't name, or when they found people who couldn't name it. And it was hysterical. All right, so this time, I think this one was better. And here is the Tennessee Titans schedule release video.
Not knowing who and when your team is playing this season, life can lose its luster. For millions of fans suffering from football season withdrawal, or FSW, even relationships can lose their spark. But now, there's Schedule Resi, a once-a-season schedule fix that cures FSW.
Football is everything. Schedule Rizzy.
With Schedule Rizzy, you can live your season to the fullest. 18 beautiful weeks, marked, circled, counted down.
I was feeling down. Schedule Rizzy turned it all around.
Consult Tennessee Titans tickets before taking Schedule Rizzy. Side effects include altitude sickness, gridlock, hand, foot, and mouth disease, imposter syndrome, heat stroke, crapping out, melancholy, general malaise, jet lag, jock itch, diarrhea, heartburn, nausea, and slurred speech.
Now my future's bright. With Schedule Rizzy, I see the light. Football is everything.
Thanks, Schedule Rizzy.
Thanks, Schedule Rizzy.
I got my Schedule Rizzy.
It's dynamite.
Ask today if Schedule Rizzy is right for you.
Phenomenal. All right, real quick. The side effects all corresponded with the opponent. Altitude sickness, they're playing the Broncos. Gridlock, they're playing the Rams in Los Angeles. Hand, foot, and mouth disease, Colts. Imposter syndrome, this was good. The Texans. It's fantastic. Imposter syndrome. Crapping out, the Raiders. It's kind of cold-blooded, to be honest, from the Tennessee Titans. Like, what if you guys won?
Yeah, they were talking a big game with some of those.
Oh, but I'm sorry, I did laugh out loud. Slurred speech, the Saints. Absolutely hysterical.
And the Browns were, of course, diarrhea.
Diarrhea, yes. Oh, phenomenal work by the Tennessee Titans. All right, we're going to talk football with Will Brinson later on. But when we come back, Greg Wyshynski of ESPN. We had the Leafs leafing. The Hurricanes may be closing out the Capitals tonight. And again, they are favored in the game. We'll talk to ESPN's senior NHL reporter next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's Hockey Night in Carolina Playoff Edition. It's Game 5 with Washington.
Walker shoots and scores! And it is a monster!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6. Puck Drop at 7.
It's Andrei Svechnikov with it. Bingo! The empty net magic!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
Okay, so hear me out. With it being Motorcycle Awareness Month and the season for rainy days, this is the perfect time to keep in mind some really important things. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and when you've been riding long enough, you know you're going to get caught in the rain when you're just trying to grab some motorcycle therapy. And it may seem obvious to think about wearing reflective gear, avoiding puddles, making sure that your lights are always on regardless of what time of day it is, but accidents tend to multiply for everyone when the weather conditions aren't so clear. So if you get into a wreck on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, remember to always call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, and they know what it's like to go through an accident. Case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Ugh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1-3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Adam Gold.
Soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin producing the program today. We are headed to a Game 5 tonight in Washington, D.C. Hurricanes with a chance to close out the Washington Capitals. Boots on the ground in our nation's capital. ESPN.com senior NHL writer Greg Wyshynski at Wyshynski on Twitter. You're there. I wish I was also there. I think this is going to be a blast tonight. What has been the difference through 4 games, you think?
Smothering Carolina defense, puck possession, Freddie Anderson, take your pick. It's the moment for me that really kind of encapsulates the series was probably last game when the Capitals had that 4-minute power play and can't even enter the zone. like when you're able to do that against this Capitals team, then it's pretty obvious that you've got this thing well in hand. And look, I think there's a very good chance we could actually push this thing to 6.
Yep.
But then, obviously probably ends there with the way the Carolinas played on home ice. But, just the ability for this team to roll 4 lines, 3 deep pairings, know what you're getting out of all of them, and play the kind of defensive game that they've been known to play in the playoffs against the Capitals team that, has some pop to it, but not necessarily a high level of offensive depth, I think has been the story in the series.
It's funny. Spencer Carberry mentioned that if we don't have a lead, we don't have a type of team that can just come back and score goals. And I'm not saying he's wrong, but weren't they second in the NHL in goals?
They were, and I don't think he's. I think he's right to a point.
Right.
and the point is that I think this team has enough offense to come back against a lot of teams. But when you're playing Carolina and they smother the life out of you defensively, you can just kind of feel the air come out of a team like the Capitals when they don't get the lead. And in those games in Carolina, they don't get the lead, and you can just kind of feel. You almost look at these guys and it looks like they're staring up at Everest, right? It is a tough thing to begin with to try to score a goal against this Carolina team. It's even tougher when they can get to their structure and know that they've got a little bit of cushion on the scoreboard. So I know what he's saying, and I think he wouldn't necessarily be saying it if they were playing the Leafs. But it certainly feels like a first goal wins kind of series against Carolina.
Greg Wyshynski is joining us from ESPN here on the Adam Gold Show. Here's the thing about it, and these things are kind of self-fulfilling because Carolina leads 3-1. They've got twice as many as 12-6 in terms of goals to Washington. But Carolina's got 16 different players with a scoring point in this. 16. I think Washington's got 8. Carolina's got a dozen players with at least 2 points in the series. And the big guys haven't really popped. I mean, Andre's got 2 goals. One of them is an empty net goal. But Sebastian Aho doesn't have a goal in the series. Yeah. Carolina is doing it all across the lineup.
It's their blessing and their curse, right? I mean, we were talking to Aho about this because, at the end of the day, they remain that team that traded for Gensel and traded for Rantanen for a reason,
Yep.
which is that they can roll 4 and get good offense out of 4. And then when it comes to a extremely tightly played conference final series against someone like Florida, you need a star to step up. You need a scorer to step up. You need someone to make a play. And the problem is that when you are, depending on your offense to come from your depth, sometimes that depth doesn't always deliver, and you need your star to deliver.
Right.
And they know that, and that's why they made those deals. So, Aho said the right things, which is that, we're confident in our offense. We get scoring throughout the lineup and everything else. But, that's kind of your fear about this team right now, is that even with the way that they're playing, they're still that same team that, looking ahead to next round, is going to need a hero, is going to need someone to score an overtime goal or something like that. And that's what they've not gotten in any season under Rod to then advance to play for the Cup.
Yeah, it's funny. You go back a couple of years, Carolina and Florida in the conference finals. And in game 1 in Raleigh, which went well beyond any day's sell-by date, Seth Jarvis had an opportunity. Now, he's a second-year player, so nobody's blaming Seth Jarvis. But he had an opportunity in the slot on I think it was a power play, and an empty net, basically, because Bobrovsky was down and out, and he put it off the crossbar. I don't know if it changes, if the series changes at all. Florida was that good, so I'm not even saying that if they win game 1, the series is different. But obviously we had 4 very close games. Florida won all 4 of them for a reason, in my opinion. But that game, they had that on their stick. They didn't have Andrei Svechnikov in that series, though.
Right. So, I mean, your point's taken, which is that, listen, they've imported some interesting offensive players. Like Taylor Hall is a guy that's done this for a long time, and he's contributed this playoff. And obviously Logan Stankoven plays the kind of game where if you need a dirty, high-danger chance goal in a tight game, he could probably deliver it to you. But ultimately what you just said is essentially where they're at, which is that they're looking for solutions internally. They're looking for Jarvis to have progressed to the point where he's not going to put it off the post and he's going to put it in the net. They're looking for Svechnikov to have progressed to the point where he could be the solution for that guy to score a big goal in the conference final. So it's not like they haven't tried, man. Like they made the Gensel deal with the hope that he was going to be the difference, and he was fine in the playoffs, but didn't want to resign. And they made the Rantanen deal, and then decided to cut bait with him. I do think I wrote about Rantanen today on ESPN, and I am interested to see ultimately, when this whole thing is said and done for Carolina, if they fall short of the Cup, if there's probably an argument to be made for keeping him. If there's an argument to be made, that some of that is 2020 hindsight with the way that he's played for Dallas. But you bought him in to be the difference maker in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You only get so many whacks at this piñata. There probably was an argument to try and maximize your window with this guy in your lineup. But then again, who knows if he's even doing this with Carolina, because he's talked about the fact that he didn't think stylistically there was a fit for him with the way the Hurricanes play. So who knows? Yeah,
I think there were a lot of things there. I think it had nothing to do with the hockey. I think he just didn't want to be here, and he had checked out. The coming back from 4 Nations, it wasn't good. If you go back and you looked at the 7 or 8 games he played, it wasn't the Mikko Rantanen we're watching. It wasn't.
I think his downplaying of the familial or cultural reasons to not want to sign long term in Raleigh, I think his downplaying of that is a little disingenuous from what I understand.
Yeah.
But I understand why he's saying it. But I do think there's something to be said for whether or not he thinks what he does fits with what Rod does. What Rod does is very specific.
Yeah.
And it's a style of play that players have to get used to. And it's entirely possible that he is being truthful in the notion of, I think that I could thrive and get my numbers in a different system with different personnel than they have in Carolina. And I mean, you look at what he's doing now with Hintz and Granlund.
Yep, he's awesome.
And there's something to that. So I don't disagree with you that I think that there's more things than hockey that played into this decision, but I do think that he's been honest about the idea that maybe stylistically it didn't really fit with what he does and what how the Hurricanes play.
Yeah, I think in his first handful of games with Carolina, he was probably more bad luck that they didn't compile a whole bunch of points. I don't know how many posts he hit. About as many as Andrei Svechnikov has hit so far in the playoffs. Greg Wyshynski is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. But I understand the point, and Carolina has been looking. There's a reason they traded for Rantanen and gave up Martin Necas and Jack Drury to get there. There's a reason they traded for Gensel, and that's another interesting story as to why Jake is in Tampa and not Raleigh right now. But Carolina does need that guy, and Andrei Svechnikov looks like he's going to be at least a Mikko light based on what I have seen so far in the playoffs. I mean, he's never going to be what Mikko is. There's only about 5 or 6 of those dudes on Earth.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Nobody's asking Andre to be that guy. Let me ask you real quick about the and by the way, I would love the drama of Carolina Dallas in a.
Wouldn't it be great?
Oh my gosh, it would be great. But real quick to Toronto and Florida. And I've always thought Florida's the best team. I thought the end of the regular season kind of damaged that a little bit, but maybe it was just Matthew Tkachuk was out and they were all just bored of regular season hockey, which is possible. I mean, I think you get bored. I mean, no teams in the East played well down the stretch. 0. I mean, only Montreal and Ottawa, I think, played well down the stretch. This is how they made the playoffs. Everybody was laboring. Did Toronto just completely turtle last night, and is that permanent?
Yeah, and it is. I mean, like, I came into the series, and they played well. I mean, they got off the hop on a pretty strong note playing at home, and we were all thinking this could be the year. And again, the biggest opponent, the most devastating opponent the Leafs play every year is themselves.
Yeah.
And as long as you can keep those demons at bay, and as long as you can keep those doubts from overcoming you, then you're in business. And the problem was that they simply couldn't do that for more than a couple games. Last night was indicative of it just collapsing. And so, yeah, first of all, I'm so bored of this. Aren't you bored? Like, I know there's certain people that love the Schadenfreude of the Leafs losing every year, but like, it just would have been more exciting for them to just have a good series and fall short than to have this be the conversation we have to have for the 100th time about them. But last night was indicative of what happens when the pressure gets too intense and the opponent they're playing knows how to punch them in the face and hit them in the head and walk away without any repercussion. And that culture that is, pervaded for this team for so long just kind of like creeps into their heads and things just fall apart real quickly. So, is this going to be a massive sea change off season for them? I mean, in theory, it probably is. I mean, Marner's a free agent, and Brendan Shanahan, who's the president of the team, might not have his contract renewed. He might end up being the president of the Islanders next year. But like, you feel like this could be the tipping point, but at the same time, again, this is where things get really dicey for the Leafs, which is every year this happens, you're like, okay, you got to break up the core. And then you're like, okay, so where do we replace 70 goals from Austin Matthews if you wanted to cut bait with Austin Matthews? Like, it's a real conundrum when your best players, I mean, look at Florida. I mean, their best players are their best playoff players, and Toronto doesn't have that. And so you either have to augment that and color around the edges with guys that do play well in the playoffs, or you have to change the makeup of your core, and we're at that tipping point now for them.
And then last night, the goals came from who? Like, how is that a record for first goal of the playoffs in Florida's 10th game, 11th game? How many guys scored their first goal of the playoffs last night? It was remarkable.
And that's a good point, because I mean, like, you look over at that Edmonton series against Vegas, who scores the game-winning goal in overtime? It's not McDavid.
No,
it's not Draisaitl. It's Kasperi Kapanen. Like these teams that are winning and thriving, and Carolina is certainly one of them, are getting contributions from everyone. So when the big guns don't fire, there's still someone there to pick up the slack. And for all the criticism of Marner and Matthews in this series, I mean, where's Tavares?
Yeah.
Like, where's anybody down the lineup? I mean, Nyes has played well, but other than that, you don't have a lot of other contribution. And so, it's a total systems failure in Toronto, and I'm not entirely sure what they have to do next.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN senior NHL writer, at Wyshynski on Twitter. Sir, I hope to see you for the conference finals. I hope Carolina gets there. Love to see him close it out tonight so I can take Saturday off. I could use it. I don't know where you're headed, but I hope to see you here.
I am doing something I've never done before in my decades of covering the playoffs. I am going off the beat to attend a wedding this weekend.
Wow.
My wife's in the bridal party, so by law I have to attend the wedding. It's and the person who's getting married, by the way, is a very prominent college football writer, which is why I think she decided that doing this in late May was okay for her.
Right.
Not okay for the hockey writers, but okay for her. But so I'll be off the beat for some game 6s and 7s this weekend, which is an awkward thing for sure.
Oh, it's all right. A weekend off is a weekend off. I appreciate your time, sir. I'll see you soon.
Anytime. Thanks.
Greg Wyshynski here on the Adam Gold Show. Max Gorn is producing the program. I am Adam Gold. We're on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search 99.9 The Fan or Adam Gold Show. And if you want to contribute in the chat, maybe a question for one-timers. Max has questions. I could ask myself a question. You never know. Why is Rory McIlroy not 7 under par? I could ask that question.
Yes, he's actually 2 over so far.
Yeah. But he did split the fairway on the par 5 7th. So maybe we start clawing back. Steven Jaeger is your leader at 5 under par, the PGA Championship. All right, one-timers next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
It's not about the cars, the speed, the action. It's not about the party or the long weekend. It's about them, the ones that gave everything. This Memorial Day weekend, we honor the fallen at America's Home for Racing.
The 66th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Here at NC Cyber Academy, screens are a good thing. At our K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school, your child can find a flexible and personalized education that lets them take a brain break when they need it, but also provides structured one-on-one time with our amazing teachers. But we also power down our laptops for in-person activities with fellow students to build community. Visit myncca.com to learn how we can set your child up for success in the classroom, at college, and in their careers.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
May is Older Americans Month, and AARP North Carolina is working to flip the script on aging. From helping you stay physically and financially secure to making sure our state is great for all ages, AARP is right here in your backyard, offering local events and advocacy to improve lives and communities. Let AARP help you get the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
During this sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Did you know
Along with keeping their local communities powered, Public Power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country. Public Power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons Public Power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining Public Power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
Gold.
Because if interrupting is part of the talent, then she wins.
Giving an RBF face? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, everybody saw it.
I didn't say it. I
that picture
did not say that.
When they were asking Bill and she interrupts him and they look at her, that's evil. Like,
yeah. Okay.
I was waiting for the lights to come out of her pupils.
You're not wrong.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin is producing this program today. Victoria's on assignment. Graham can't be bothered. Max drew the short straw. Is it the long straw or the short straw? Short straw, right?
Well, whenever there's a good straw, I'm happy to get the work in. So
you need reps. All right, and I appreciate you wearing your Hurricanes gear tonight. You're ready.
Always. I'll be at the watch party tonight. So.
Oh, look at you going to the Carolina Ale House. It's in Cary, right? All road games. If you're in Wilmington, hurry, get up here. If you are in Asheville, hurry, get down here. Although I'm sure there's a Carolina Ale House in your area, and you can go there. All right, sir. It is one-timers Q&A.
All right, we got a lot of questions. I had a couple from the chat as well. Of course, given the Game 5 matchup tonight, we got a lot of Hurricanes questions today.
Okay.
We got one here from WM.
All right, WM.
If Tulsky was irresponsible and gave you the choice between Sam Bennett or Mitch Marner in free agency, who are you taking?
Sam Bennett. It's a no-brainer for me. Mitch Marner's a great player, but I know when Sam Bennett is a great player. I know it. And also, I think Sam Bennett would fill a role that Carolina desperately needs.
Yeah, he could slide in that second-line center slot.
He could be a center, which I won't regale the conversation, but I might have suggested Sam Bennett before Calgary traded him to Florida, and I was laughed at. Anyway, next. The answer is Sam Bennett.
All right, pretty cut and dry there.
He's going to get like $9 million from Florida. Oof. That's what I was told. Like, I'm looking at him as like a $6.5, maybe $7 million player. He's going to get $9 million.
He brings that great physicality too, but he's for that price, maybe a little more scoring you'd like to
see. Nasty.
I digress. That's why I'm not a GM, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting down the stretch here in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Oilers on to the conference finals last night. Chances for the Canes and the Stars to potentially close out their series tonight. Who do you consider to be the favorite out of the remaining teams to win the Stanley Cup?
Ooh, I believe the favorite is still the Florida Panthers. I mentioned this with Greg Wyshynski. The last month of the regular season soured me on Florida and made me pro Tampa. And as soon as I watched game 1 of that series, I went, yeah, it's going to be Florida again. I think all year long, I thought they were the best team, and they have every element, can play any way you want to play. They can play fast. They can play physical. They can grind you out. They can win a goalie battle, power play. They are complete. They're the best team.
Yeah, they certainly have that great playoff experience. Well, they've played a lot of hockey over the last couple of years, though.
The whole state of Florida. Florida has been in the Eastern Conference representative. If Florida isn't
5
this
straight
year,
years.
If Florida,
it'll be 6,
it would be 6 in a row
this year if they make it. So
Tampa, Florida, potentially Florida.
We'll see if they're worn out from all that hockey.
Maybe.
We got one from For Betters or Worse in the chat here on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan. Going into the playoffs, you said the Canes would need Kochetkov. They've only used him when Freddie was hurt. Can the Canes win the Cup with Freddie carrying the load like he has so far?
Apparently, yes.
I think so.
Apparently, yes. And if Freddie stays healthy, he has proven that he is really good, if not great. Statistically, he's been the best goalie. So I have been wrong before. I hope to be wrong again. But yeah, he's played great. So
he's been phenomenal.
Let's hope so.
If he can keep this level up, I don't see why not. But
all right.
All right, switching gears here. Let's go over to the NBA.
Okay.
We saw last night. This series continues with the Celtics. Pacers have already moved on to the Eastern Conference Final. Timberwolves moved on. Same question as we asked before, but for the NBA, who do we consider to be the favorite to win the NBA championship out of the remaining teams?
Oklahoma City had the best record, right? Well, Cleveland had the best record, but Oklahoma City in the West had the best record. But I think Minnesota's the favorite.
Wow.
I think the Timberwolves are the favorite. Unless the Celtics beat the Knicks, and I think the Celtics will beat the Knicks, and then I still make Boston the favorite.
Even with no Tatum?
Yeah. Like, look, they might wear out because they only play 6 guys or 7 guys, but they are tough. They are maybe tougher without Tatum because they have to play a different way. But, yeah, they are really good. I think they're going to beat the Knicks. I think they're going to win that series. But I think Minnesota's probably the favorite. Boston's got too much to do. All right, we done? We can't squeeze another one in.
No, can't. We got about 5 seconds here, so.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Anything else you want to add?
No, Rory needs to get going.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. I met Gordon in 1999. That's more than a quarter of a century ago. It's kind of amazing. And it was at that point he told me about the no closing cost mortgage that would allow me the freedom to refinance free of charge when the rates come down. So I did that. And then about a year and a half later, the rates dropped by almost a point. And I lowered my monthly payment on the first home I bought in Raleigh by about $300 a month. That's how much I saved. How much did I pay in closing cost? 0. So I saved thousands, then I saved hundreds. If you pay closing cost, you are banking on the rates not dropping for about 8 years. No chance that happens. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. That's right, home of the original no closing cost loan. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 250-2146.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharkies. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Raleigh Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The golf season is here. Time to upgrade your game. Head to Global Golf and explore Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned player, our expert staff will get you fit. Are you ready to trade in your current clubs? Global Golf makes it easy to trade in your previously played equipment and upgrade to your next set of clubs. Visit Global Golf today, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
I'm Dr. Miller, a dentist and a volunteer for Dental Lifeline Network. DLN asks dentists to volunteer to see just one patient per year who might not have access to proper oral health care. Join me in making a difference.
Go to willyouseeone.org to learn more.
The Carolina RV Super Show is coming to you. Join us at any Camping World in North Carolina or South Carolina, May 15th through the 18th, to shop ridiculous discounts on the best selection of new and used RVs in the Carolinas. Tour new 2025 RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Orlov with a big hit. Loose puck finds Stahl. Stahl up for Martinook. Martinook trying to play it around Ovechkin. Puck comes back to Stahl. He gets it up, and it's Andrei Svechnikov with it. Bingo! The empty net magic. And the Canes have gone up by 3. It's 5-2. Svechnikov, 7th of the postseason. And there is now noise with feeling here in Lenovo Center.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Doran. Max Doran? What happened to me? Max Gorin producing.
It's funny because, my dad's name is Dave Gorin.
Right.
Whenever NC State hired Dave Doran to be their head coach, he got a lot of calls of people who were confused. Like, congratulations on the job. He's like, I'm not coaching NC State football. Sorry to tell you.
Maybe that's why whenever I tried to email you before it didn't go through. I have to check and see if I did that. I know who you are because I know your dad very well. All right, we got a lot to do, and tonight, a 6 o'clock for your local or for all of you listening locally, easy for me to say, a 6 o'clock pregame show as we are hoping here to close out the Washington Capitals in 5 games. Grant Paulsen, Grant and Danny, 106.7 The Fan, in our nation's capital, who joined us at the start of the series, and then I joined them. His trash talk was better than my trash talk. How are you, sir?
Well, your play has been better than my play, so I would trade you at this point. The trash talk for the 3-1 lead. By the way, we got to learn. Our producer Max is out here grinding. We got to learn his name, Adam.
I'm bad.
The guy's working for you.
Yeah.
He's making moves.
He is
moving and shaking. What are we doing here?
He absolutely is, and there's a lot he has to deal with. He is in many ways Jacob Slavin having to play with Brent Burns. Just not 100% sure where Brent's going to be. So, yeah, I'm putting a lot of pressure on Max. I should at least get his last name right. That is absolutely that's an own goal on my part. All right, so where's your level of confidence that Washington pushes this to Game 6?
It's the Capitals in the playoffs, so there's just so many ghosts that they could be up 3-1 or 3-0, and I don't know that I would have confidence, right? But I think they're going to come out and play a really good game tonight. All year long, this team, which was not supposed to have been any good and was not supposed to have been in the running for the Metro, let alone the number one team in the East and the number one seed, all those things, all they've ever done is answered the bell, right, every step of the way. So I think they're going to play well. My wife today was asking me, she's like, do you think they win tonight? And I'm like, it's hockey in the playoffs. I have no idea. They could dominate them for 60 minutes and lose in overtime. Nothing makes sense. You guys saw that in Game 1, right?
Yep.
you carry the play, and what does that get you other than a $5 to spend on donuts the next day if you lose the hockey game? So what I think from a process standpoint is that they'll be better. I think they'll play hard. They got a pot of gold. The first couple of games, I didn't think Frederik Andersen was all that impressive. I thought in Raleigh he was unbelievable, and specifically in the first period of Game 3 when the Caps may have played their best period of this series to this point and had nothing to show for it. So, when they come out flying like they did in Games 3 and 4, if that happens, and they're up 5-1 with a post or whatever it is in shots, you need to get something. And Protas, instead of hitting a post, you got to go up 1-0 in enemy territory. So they need something like that to go well. I think they need to play from out in front. Just knowing this crowd like I do, Adam, if they go down in this game, all of a sudden the nervous energy leads to it not being as loud and energetic as it needs to be because people have watched the movie before. So I think they've got to start fast. I think they got to find a way to score a first period goal and get a lead.
Grant Paulsen from 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C. is joining us here. So you mentioned Game 1. Game 1 and Game 3 are, I think, incredibly telling for maybe why Carolina's where they are and maybe why this series is what it is. Because Washington was way second best in the first period in Game 1. I mean, that was probably the most dominant. If you asked Rod Brindamore, would you like that first period again, even with no goals, he'd take it because it was that dominant. And you guys got the first goal. Protas scores the first goal in transition, beating Andersen just like between the pad and the blocker. That makes it 1-0. And Carolina, I thought, went back to playing great again and had nothing to show for it until the turnover, which I guess was Protas, and the Stankoven goal that tied it. And then in overtime, it was the net front that, the screen that beats Logan Thompson low. Maybe not a great goal, but it was it was just so many bodies in between Slavin's shot and the net. So Carolina, they didn't steal it because I think they played well enough to win, but they could have easily lost that game. And I thought Game 3, you guys were awesome for 30 minutes and had nothing to show for it. And then the Svechnikov goal, I thought, took the sails out of you guys.
Yeah, the Game 3 lopsided 2 games was pretty staggering, in my opinion, right? Because I thought, again, the first period is probably the best period the Caps have played. They maybe have played a couple better stretches, but I don't think they played a better 20 minutes. And then I thought the early part of the second period, it kind of carried over. Like, my thought going intermission was, oh, no, they should be up at least 2-0. Maybe you get lucky and you score a third. I mean, they had the early second period opportunities and Fleury in front of the cage as well. Couldn't get anything. You got Beauvillier missing a wide open net easily. So some of it's like Andersen being outstanding.
Yep.
I thought a couple pucks bounce, roll. Ovechkin had a couple of net front opportunities with time and space and had nothing to show for it. And then there's also some excellent saves along the way. So it's like, all right, you think you should be up, worst case 1-0, probably 2-0. If you got a little good fortune, 3-0, whatever it is, 3-1. And instead it's zippy, and it felt like a loss in that way. But they still came out and did what I kind of wanted them to do in the second period.
Yeah.
And then everything shifted 6-7, whatever it is, 8 minutes in. And I thought from that moment until the end of the game, Carolina dominated them.
Yeah.
Like in every way, in every facet. It looked like Game 1, honestly, almost. It was that lopsided and that bad. So that game is kind of the game you split in half, I suppose.
Yep.
But yeah, Game 4 to me, they needed to come out flying, and they did. They made a couple of adjustments in their top 6, moving Protas and Wilson around. And it seemed like, to me, that they knew you can't lose this game. Because if you go down 3-1, it just feels inevitable. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. And I thought they responded well. And then in the third period, they got within a goal a couple of times. And that's really all you need to do. You pull 6 on 5 and see what happens. But they just couldn't finish it off. So the fact is, and what we've been talking about here, is Carolina's been the better team. I mean, Washington does not deserve to be 2-2 probably right now. It'd be nice if you could have stolen one, whether that was Game 1 or something else. Didn't happen. You are where you should be, and they got work to do.
Grant Paulsen, Grant and Danny in Washington, D.C. on 106.7 The Fan is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What adjustments further beyond the ones he already made is Spencer Carberry making for game number 5 tonight?
So, Adam, you're going to see a really different structural look in the bottom 6. So Lars Eller, who's a 2018 Stanley Cup hero around these parts who's left and come back and just doesn't have a lot left. Can't finish, can't score, doesn't really give them much offensively, and has been their weak link throughout the second half of the season and into the playoffs. They've been reticent that they're not going to park him. They don't have another center option. They thought about getting one at the deadline, didn't do it. So they could move Connor McMichael off the wing, who's been one of their better wings in the playoffs, and that's his best position in the league. He's a traditional center coming up, to the third-line center, and they've just kept saying, we're not doing it, we're not doing it. They think Eller's better defensively. They think he's better in defensive zone draws. The problem is the Eller line can't get the puck out anyway. I mean, it's also been the line, where they've, I think, been most dominated. Like, the games have swung, as far as momentum goes, on these shifts where that Eller line just can't get the puck out. They're in a period or in a sequence been better for 7-8 minutes, and then Carolina hems them in and buzzes for 45 seconds to 90 seconds, and the arena's back alive. So if that line's not doing anything defensively, then what is it that you'd say you do here, office space style? So what they're going to do is they're going to move McMichael off the wing to center. Eller's parked. He's out. A little bit of a panic move, but it's panic time. They kept saying, we're not doing it, we're not doing it. Well, now you're about to get eliminated. So either do it or you're talking tomorrow morning about next season. So I like that because they're going to give Ryan Leonard a chance to skate with someone with some speed and skill. Leonard, who, the point I've been making on air locally is if he's not helping you offensively, there's not a whole lot right now he's going to do. He's going to be a great player eventually. But Eller's been dragging him down like a cinder block. So having some speed to skate with, McMichael on that line with Mangiapane and with Ryan Leonard, the third line, is going to give them their fastest line that they've had as a team all postseason. So I think that'll be interesting to see. They're very small, though. All three of those guys are not big. They're probably 5'9"-ish.
Right.
So it'll be a smaller, faster line. And then they'll have the biggest line they've had all year as well, because they're going to move Protas to the second line with Tom Wilson and Pierre-Luc Dubois, like three guys that are skaters, really good skaters, power forwards, kind of cut from the same cloth. So that's a pretty nasty line. I'm sure with last change they'll try to pair against Aho as often as possible. And that line tonight. And then the question is, what can they get out of Ovechkin, who's been library quiet for the most part, and Dylan Strome, who had 9 points in the first round in 5 games against Montreal. Point-per-game player this year, 82-point player, who's got 1 point in these 4 games to this point, and that's their top line. They got to figure something out there. Anthony Beauvillier is going to move up to skate with them. They'll put their fourth line that's been traditional all year back together, which is Dowd centering Duhaime and Radish. So that's a pretty sizable shift. I mean, they're not going to go down just with the same rotation. They're making a pretty obvious Hail Mary here, and we'll see what he gets them.
Grant Paulsen, 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C., at Grant Paulsen on Twitter. Grant H. Paulsen, you stuck an H in there in the middle of it. I appreciate that. I appreciate your time, and I will do better with Max.
Why, really quickly. I'll tell you why.
Why?
I know you've probably got better things to do.
That's fine.
There was a guy who took the name Grant Paulsen on Twitter, and he tweeted one time in like 2011, and he tweeted he couldn't wait to watch the Glenn Beck show. And then he never tweeted again and hasn't been on Twitter since. And so, like, in 2013, when I was, like, starting to build a little bit of a following on Twitter, I'm like, can I get this Twitter account from this Glenn Beck fan, like, who doesn't tweet? And Twitter was like, you absolutely cannot. And so I said, okay, that's where we are. So I'm not like a Jonathan Taylor Thomas guy who loves my middle initial.
Right.
I'm just a guy who didn't tweet about Glenn Beck first. That's what I am.
You didn't have a number you can put on the end, or an underscore you could have used?
I hate the underscore. I think the underscore is aesthetically awful. Middle initial over underscore. Number, I might have gone back to the well there. If I could go back and do it again, maybe I would have mixed in a number. But the underscore to me, I'm not an underscore guy.
Understood. Grant Paulsen, 106.7 The Fan in D.C. Hey, thank you very much. I'd wish you luck tonight, but I want Saturday off. So I'm not wishing you good luck, but I thank you for your time.
I understand. I just need more hockey in this town. So, Saturday we can reconvene, but just give us this one and let's make this thing a little more interesting.
We got room on the bandwagon here, sir.
No, that won't be happening.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I understand. I'll talk to you soon, man. Take care.
All right. See you, Adam. Be good.
You got it. Grant Paulsen here on the Adam Gold Show. All right. We're going to talk football with Will Brinson on the other side. I do not wish him luck because I do want Saturday to do other things. Not that I don't love going to Lenovo Center to watch hockey.
Of course.
It is look, we're all biased. We all feel like we've got the best atmosphere. But here is why, and when Grant said that if the Capitals fall behind, he goes, I know what this arena is going to be like, right? If anybody watched last night, when Florida scored first, everybody in that arena had a sick feeling about, we've seen this before.
To be fair, I think a lot of them might have felt that way walking in the start of the game.
Very possible. You know, the funny thing about that series is that Toronto should have won Game 3. They had a 2-goal lead, I believe, twice in that game. First time they gave it up, they got it back, right? I think it went from 3-1 to 3-2, then to 4-2. And then they allowed Florida to tie it in the third period, lost it in overtime on the Brad Marchand goal. That was the game they needed to close out, and they couldn't do it. And I think the doubts crept in then. As much as you believe that this is a different team under Craig Berube and a different organization, those players, they've got scar tissue, real scar tissue. And, yeah, going into that game last night, there was probably a sense of inevitability. But, man, did that building get quiet.
Oh, yeah. It sounded real quiet. And then you feel bad for the Leafs, the players.
Do you really?
Well, when you see them throw the jerseys on the ice and everything.
I don't feel bad for the players.
Yeah, I feel bad for. I mean, obviously, there's a impetus on you to score and to perform, but like to have your jersey thrown on the ice by your own fans, and it's not even like they were getting eliminated. Like it was a crushing loss, and they're down, but it's not like their season ended because they laid an egg. Like they still have a chance to win in Florida and bring it back for Game 7.
How mad do you have to be to throw away a jersey?
Those are expensive, man. I'm not throwing any jerseys on the ice.
I just don't understand that. Like I get a hat. I wouldn't throw a hat on the ice either. I mean, hats are $30. I wouldn't throw a hat on the ice either. I don't get throwing a jersey on the ice. I don't. But, do what you do you, as they say. But if Washington does fall behind, yeah, I think Grant's right. But this arena, and this was my larger point, that it was in game 1. And Carolina's still, they're just down a goal. When Protas scored early in the second period, the arena was, as they came out to start the third, they were jacked. Now, it's just one goal. And Carolina was playing well, so there was every reason to believe that if they just stuck with it, they would eventually score. But we all know how it goes. Sometimes it doesn't work for you. I've been at games where the Hurricanes had nearly 70 shots on goal and didn't win a game. We got UC Saros more than once.
In Max Pacioretty's return.
Oh,
that was the same game.
Yeah. Like 66 shots or
64 shots, I believe, 61 saves for Saros.
Insane. So we've seen that before. But the crowd just doesn't let up. And that is to their credit. It is a really, really great environment for hockey. And again, I've said this before. When Svechnikov scored in the middle of Game 3, I could not hear. It was nuts. So make it quiet tonight in D.C. All right, when we come back, Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, will join us. A little bit of schedule, a little bit of quarterback stuff, a little bit of other stuff next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
September 1st versus TCU. That is UNC football's opening game. How many switches, how many twists in the Bill Belichick story are we going to get in the next 100-some-odd days before the opener? Unlimited. It is insane, and UNC has to find a way to cut out the distractions and focus on football.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, business owners out there, if you are looking for a great team-building experience or a treat for your employees, Adam Gold here for X Golf in Cary, North Carolina's premier indoor golf experience. Off US 64 in the McGregor Village Shopping Center, a great reward for your sales team for making budget, maybe a new spot for the office party, or hey, just take a long lunch and get in an emergency night at Pebble Beach. I'm telling you, off the charts. Great bar menu as well. Online, playxgolf.com/Cary.
At the Car Scott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki Outboards May 16th through the 18th. And it's bringing the largest inventory and deepest discount of the year. Save thousands off top brands. On-site financing to get you approved and on the water. Boats in stock and priced to move now. Test ride your boat at delivery. Get in a new boat or upgrade in time for summer. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, May 16th through 18th at the Car Scott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki Outboards.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Ugh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people all the time, every single company that I endorse, it's about customer service. You guys are amazing. Even in a pink belt, you're amazing. What is the philosophy of Aluminum Company?
So for us, it's all about helping customers out, right? We go out to your house, you want to look at windows, and a lot of people don't want to do all of their windows at one time. So we're not there to pressure you to do what we want you to do. We just want to come out, have a conversation with you, look at your house overall. We can do an inspection of your house if you want us to look around and see what windows are the worst, or if you need some doors and windows. We put together a package that works for the customer. There's no pressure. We absolutely try to help with financing options and put together a package that works for our customers. And that's our philosophy, is just we're there to help. We're not there to pressure you.
And let me tell you this, from a personal standpoint, everything you just said was true because you did exactly that with me not that long ago. Patrick Day, Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 800-672-4348 or aluminumcompany.com.
The Carolina RV Super Show is coming to you. Join us at any Camping World in North Carolina or South Carolina, May 15th through the 18th, to shop ridiculous discounts on the best selection of new and used RVs in the Carolinas. Tour new 2025 RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's why.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin producing the program. Did Graham leave you a playlist for today?
Nope. These are all from straight off the dome.
Very nice. Very nice. Do you remember what really made Rick Springfield famous?
I don't. I know about his dog that was on all the album covers. But
I actually don't know that. I was never a fan of his music. Which soap opera was he on?
I could not tell you.
Yeah, was it like One Life to Live? I don't know. Maybe
I'll do some research on that.
All right, maybe Will Brinson will know. Senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com. He sorts the Sunday pile. It's a Thursday. We have no pile. We have a pile of schedule reveals. Do you remember the The soap opera that Rick Springfield was on for a long time?
I mean, no, but I would just guess like Bold and Beautiful.
No, I don't, it was an ABC. I think it might have been General Hospital. He played a doctor.
Well, that's probably General Hospital then.
Yeah, it could have been General. Well, there's doctors in every soap opera. All right, sir. Let's start with the trade. You and I have not spoken now. It's got to be 2.5 weeks or so. I wanted way too long, and I'm mad because Rory McIlroy is playing poorly today. He is 2 over.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought we were talking PGA Championship, but football's fine. No, Rory was the prohibitive favorite coming in for good reason. Yeah. Like mentally, the Masters, winning the Masters took everything off the plate mentally. But we've seen Rory, particularly last week, and then again today. I think I'm not sure what it was, what he's at right now, but he was at 2 of 10 fairways hit, and 3 of those balls could have gone in the water.
Yeah.
If Rory's not driving the ball well, he won't win this tournament, and he might not. He'll probably make the cut, but it'll be close.
Well, right now he's going to be in the bottom quarter of the field, but he's going to go out. He's going to shoot 63 tomorrow, so we'll be fine. All right,
he's still 14 to 1 to win. He's right there.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't be 14 to 1 to win right now. All right, let me get to the trade of the Dallas Cowboys with the Pittsburgh Steelers to bring in George Pickens. Was this the trade, do you think, that Jerry Jones was forecasting? We're looking at serious trades. Is this the serious trade you think he was thinking about, or did they make it after the fact because they got to do something?
So I'll give the Cowboys credit on this one. I think, for me, when you look at evaluating your off season and how you handle it as a franchise, as a front office, you really shouldn't look at free agency. This should be obvious, I guess, but don't look at free agency in the draft as 2 independent events where they need to work together. Your free agency decisions should impact your draft decisions, and vice versa to a degree. Now, you should still take the best players available. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to be drafting for need because you signed a bunch of guys at one position, but during free agency, in those talks where there's all these trade rumors at the combine and people are available and all the stuff leading up to the draft, the Cowboys correctly ascertained that there would be a market for talented veteran, wide receivers, even like if Pickens is an up and down guy.
Yeah.
We saw DK Metcalf get traded. And so they made the decision to look at other areas in the draft, particularly offensive line in the first round, and then not to reach for a receiver because it was a position of need, not to reach for one because they believed they could find a receiver in a trade after the draft. And so, I think the whole process they utilized for this was pretty good. I think Pickens is kind of a really nice number 2. He tried to be a number 1 in Pittsburgh, just didn't work out. He's more of a straight line burner down the field.
Yeah.
Sort of make a couple big contested catches. I think he works really well with CeeDee Lamb, particularly if they put Lamb, in the slot as much as they will, and let Pickens kind of work as the vertical guy on the outside. You have to think, too, Dallas likely had a pretty good grade on Pickens coming out of the draft.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Originally.
Because, he was that talented, and he had the ACL injury at Georgia, which pushed him down the draft board. He ended up being like a 3rd round or 4th round pick, right?
Yeah. He's got a really good pedigree and an incredible skill set. Volatile guy. I think it's probably best for everybody involved, DK, Pickens, and the Steelers, not to mention future Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, more than likely, that those 2 guys aren't on the same team because that's like a fight club of NFL wide receivers.
Will Brinson is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. All right, you said more than likely Aaron Rodgers. It has to be, right? They can't possibly go into the season with Mason Rudolph.
No, the rhetoric that now look, it's still possible Rodgers retires.
Right.
But I would set the odds at like minus 500 that he signs with the Steelers. And by the way, for NC State fans listening, if you're thinking about making that trip to Pittsburgh to see the Wolfpack play the Panthers in October, the week before Halloween. That Sunday night game, Week 8 in the NFL, Packers at Steelers. Aaron Rodgers' potential revenge game if you're interested in hanging around. Just worth noting.
That's right. And the Steelers are playing at the Jets. Talk about a revenge game in Week 1.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I mean, both those games, I think, are in prime time. Maybe Steelers and Jets isn't. I mean, obviously Packers and Steelers is. When the NFL does stuff like that, it indicates that everybody involved sort of knows that this is a likely outcome. And I just think unless Rodgers retires, the Steelers have a clear need. And Rodgers, really only has one destination, and to me, it's one of those things where, all right, if he signs right now, then there's a lot of focus on him. There's a lot of focus on whatever he's doing this off season. There's a lot of focus on the Steelers. Whereas if he signs a little bit down the road, closer to training camp or past OTAs, there's not going to be this whole discussion about exactly what he's supposed to be there for and when he's supposed to be there. So it sort of takes that aspect out of play by kicking the can down the road.
Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, normally sorts the Sunday pile. Let's just lighten the mood a little bit. What did you think of the Panthers draft video, or about a schedule video, with Xavier Leggett? First of all, the subtitles, next level good, and then and then the sort of, I don't think it was a great British accent. They could have found a British guy. It seemed like they had somebody imitating a British guy. What do you think of that?
I mean, look, I think the Panthers year in and year out do one of the, if you're power ranking social media teams on their annual production of schedule release videos, I think the Panthers are right up there in the top tier, along with the Chargers. The Titans do an incredible job. They did a Minecraft video this year. But
yes. They had to apologize for their Minecraft video.
Ever since David Tepper sort of took a step back from everything, it's not just the football stuff, but also the admin stuff, the social media stuff. The Panthers have had a little bit more free reign and have emerged from their cocoon, and I enjoy it greatly.
Yeah, the who did the Minecraft? That wasn't the Titans. Chargers. The Chargers had to apologize for it with the Coast Guard.
No, the Colts had to apologize.
Oh, it was the Colts, not the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Colts had to apologize. Yeah, I mean, you can tell that weed has been legal in California for a decade by the way that the Chargers operate their social media stuff.
The Titans won it again, though. The schedule, Rizzy, was phenomenal.
Well, and I mean, the thing about the Titans is they had something before too, where it's like going around Nashville and asking people if they could identify the Titans logo.
The logo, so good.
It speaks a lot to the city of Nashville that they can routinely walk downtown, and I guess you always have people from elsewhere there, but they can routinely walk downtown and just find people with absolutely zero knowledge of not just the NFL and of football teams, but the football team that is in the actual city.
It's just the couple of years ago when they did that, it was just so good. Let me ask you this about the schedule itself. The NFL is clearly using the Chiefs, no?
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole generation of, kids right now that find the Chiefs, they're sort of bandwagon Chiefs fans because that happens. There's a whole generation of bandwagon Pats fans. There's a whole, half my dad's entire generation is Yankees fans and the Cowboys, have a generation of Cowboys fans. So you're going to get high ratings for Chiefs games. They are the team that's talked about the most. But, man, I mean, it felt like every single announcement. It's like, you want them on Thanksgiving? Sure. You want them on Christmas? Absolutely. How does Brazil on Friday?
Right.
How does Brazil sound? I mean, they are putting the Chiefs up everywhere. And, I mean, it makes sense. They're the Patriots got the same treatment. The Cowboys still get the same treatment because they're going to put popular teams that are good on lots of primetime games. I think it's the Chiefs have 7 primetime games.
7 primetime games.
Yeah, which, I mean, They may realize that this is the final year to cash in on the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift coupling. if Kelce retires after this year, and maybe they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, get a proposal of the game or something like that. I don't know, but I mean, look, we like to complain about things that people continue, like, when you talk about like internet articles,
right?
People are like, that's just clickbait. You're writing that because it's the Cowboys. It's like, yeah, well, you clicked. So, it's like, oh, the Chiefs are on the screen again. It's like, well, everyone's watching. So the NFL knows what it's doing. The Chiefs are going to be a really good football team. I think if you're interested in betting on the Chiefs, they are minus 110, I think, to win their division, which seems crazy to me. It should be like minus 150 at the lowest.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good look if you're interested.
Who is the second choice? Is it the Chargers? Is it the Broncos?
Yeah, probably the Chargers. The Broncos, did some good stuff. They have a great defense. Bo Nix in year 2 with Sean Payton, and then in theory the Raiders make things tougher with a better coaching staff and an overall roster for just in terms of those interdivisional games to win them so easily. Also, I think we get a week 2 Monday night football game, Jim Harbaugh at Pete Carroll. Like, what's your deal, bro?
Wow.
It gets the return. I mean, these guys, they're more mellow and friendly now. But I mean, they've had a long running beef dating back to Stanford and
college,
USC,
absolutely.
When they got in fights, yeah. I mean, like that's high drama for sure.
I was watching the game where Stanford beat USC out of nowhere. That was like the beginning of the Jim Harbaugh run at Stanford.
And Pete Carroll had no idea it was a rivalry.
Right.
The thing about that division that's interesting too is that the 4 coaches involved are either Hall of Famers or really, really close to being Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Pete Carroll. Like another Super Bowl for Harbaugh, or another one for the other guys would probably push him over the top. And they're older now, so they're a lot less bombastic. Not that Andy Reid has necessarily been, a crazy sideline coach in the past, but you won't get the sort of like crazy coaching speak that you used to get with Harbaugh and Schwartz when against each other. But I guarantee you there is some, while there's a lot of respect, there's a lot of rivalry in that AFC West. I think the coaching matchups in particular there are really, really fascinating.
All right, Will Brinson, a couple more things with him before we let him go. Senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, at Will Brinson on Twitter. The how do you look at what the Panthers did draft, the release of Jadeveon Clowney? But they did that so I guess they could sign their rookie class. What's your take on where the Panthers are as a group right now?
I think what the Panthers are doing is the building sort of the right way. I really think, I've said this for several years now, that the Panthers got into a problem. And Roy just bogeyed 18, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I was watching it.
Hand back of Ryan Gerard, who just eagled 15. Unbelievable. I think the Panthers. I'm locked into football. I think the Panthers. They tried to take this shortcut and believe that they were further ahead in the roster building process than they were, that they were a quarterback away.
Yeah.
Getting Bryce Young puts them over the top. And when you do that and you miss, it is going to set you back. If you do that and you hit, you can accelerate the process, but it's a really risky proposition. They missed in that first year and it set them back because of the draft capital they gave up. And it's put the Bears in a good position. But the Panthers have, over the last 2 years, really been, outside of maybe drafting like Jonathan Brooks, who could be a great player, but, suffered another torn ACL, have done a pretty good job of trading and acquiring assets and sort of focusing on, okay, what can we do to help Bryce the most? The offensive line drastically improved under Dave Canales in the first year. And then they go out and they go and get Nick Scorton in the second round. You had Princely in the third. So you get those 2 edge guys with some upside, but that's a position you really need to invest in. But they also got T-Mac in the first to help out Bryce and to give him another weapon, which he sorely needs. I like the way that they're doing it, sort of taking a much more patient approach. I don't think they're going to make this over-the-top move in 2025. But if Bryce takes another step forward this year, they're a borderline fringe playoff team that can make some noise.
Because the division is winnable.
Yeah, the division is winnable. And, what happens if he takes a big step? All of a sudden you feel like you've got a legitimate chance in 2026 if you can draft well and develop some guys.
Yeah, I don't think if we're talking about stacking the conference 1 through 16, I don't think the Panthers are really going to threaten to be in the top half, but they could win the division. I don't think anybody in that division is better than 10 wins, and I think you could win that division with 9 if things break the right way.
I don't think things need to break the right way. I think if you get 9 wins in that division, you're either, if we get an anomaly like the NFC North last year where there's 10 wins in third place, then maybe you're out of the playoffs. But if you finish the season with 9 wins in the NFC South, you probably ended up losing on some kind of tiebreaker,
right,
or just one game out of the playoffs. And if the Panthers win 9 games this year, Dave Canales is going to be in the running for Coach of the Year, and they should, everybody should feel good about what happened.
All right, final thing for you, Will Brinson. Who has made, do you think, through trades, free agency, whatever, maybe a big jump? Say that again?
Big jump. No, I'm just that was a big I'm just trying to think I don't know that there's been anybody that's blown me away. I mean, I think you could make the case that the Jackson. Here's what I'll go with it. I'm sure I'll be skewered for this at some point. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know. I think you look around and scroll through most of the teams in the NFL, and you think to yourself, all right, they made these additions, but it's kind of status quo. I think the Jaguars, with the move to Liam Cohen, massive upgrade to front office just by getting rid of Trent Baalke.
Right.
And it appears their little GM wonderkid is 24. I think he's actually 34.
He's uniquely qualified to deal with everything, as he told us.
To go up and get Travis Hunter like that, I thought was just an outstanding move. Really, it's splashy, it's aggressive, but he's just a unicorn player. We've talked about this before. So I think the Jaguars, to me, profile as a team that's people probably sleeping on a little bit after they won 4 games last year. If they can keep Lawrence healthy and he performs better under Liam Cohen, I think that's a team that, if the defense can even be just a little below average, is probably a playoff team in the AFC.
Real quick question, because I actually saw some reference to this on social media. If I gave you one or the other, who would you take, Bryce Young or Trevor Lawrence?
I would still take Trevor Lawrence, but I think that Bryce. I like what I've seen from Bryce Young the last year.
Yeah, I've never been a Lawrence guy. Never. I
like Trevor Lawrence.
I like 6'6", 240. I don't like the quarterback. But that's I've never been in on Trevor. I think he's very average as a player. But I could be wrong too. We have certainly his second year, I think, was second year. He came on strong at the end of that second year, and he just hasn't risen to those levels again. All right, Rory's going to shoot 63 tomorrow, and we'll be fine. So if you have a ticket on Rory, then hang on to it.
I have no Rory. I have Xander this week. So good finish for Xander. Birdie par.
Yeah.
Hope he can pull it off.
I'll be rooting for you. Not really. Will, I thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. See you, buddy.
Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com. We have to stretch. We have to place bets. I'm going to guarantee a Hurricanes win tonight. I'll tell you how. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And now that we found out that the home teams could actually win a game in the second round of the NBA playoffs, we have to figure out what's up. But there's no better place to do it than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Plus, in-game live betting, no better place. Plus, stats are available right through the app. And new customers, you can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 wager. FanDuel.com/AGS. Join today. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's not about the cars, the speed, the action. It's not about the party or the long weekend. It's about them, the ones that gave everything. This Memorial Day weekend, we honor the fallen at America's Home for Racing.
The 66th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
Imagine a school where you can study AI and ancient Egypt, become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space, your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
May is Older Americans Month, and AARP North Carolina is working to flip the script on aging. From helping you stay physically and financially secure to making sure our state is great for all ages, AARP is right here in your backyard, offering local events and advocacy to improve lives and communities. Let AARP help you get the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
During the sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gord is here today. Now I think you're just trolling me.
How so?
With this. I believe you're just trolling me with this. I appreciate Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers, but I think you're just trolling me.
How could I be trolling?
You should have bumped with 9 to 5.
Oh, that would have been a good one. By the way, we mentioned this in the last segment. You mentioned Rick Springfield.
Yes.
He was on General Hospital. Noah Drake.
Yep.
That is where he gained notoriety.
Shouts to Darren, who emailed me, and who was it here? Rich, Dr. Noah Drake, the Rockin' Doc, as Darren informed me through email.
Yeah, I'm not a soap opera expert by any means. So honestly, I had no idea that Rick Springfield started as a soap opera guy.
He did. I'm trying to remember. In college, I was buddies with a bunch of guys on the football team, and they were all my children watchers. I didn't dig that, but they would stop by on the way to training table. And never mind. We don't have to belabor that conversation. But they would watch soap operas. They were big into All My Children, which was a little earlier in the day. General Hospital was a little bit later in the afternoon. So there you go. All right, it's time to stretch.
All right, so as we know, we've got a new pope over in the Vatican.
We do have a new pope.
American pope, which is first time ever.
Chicago native, Villanova guy.
Yes.
Which should have been good for the Knicks.
But it has not been yet.
Not yet. They
Certainly
haven't won that series.
So yeah, Pope Leo XIV. We had an interesting story on Wednesday. Pope meets Sinner.
Yes.
It is #1 tennis player in the world, Jannik Sinner.
The Pope is apparently a huge tennis fan.
Yes. So it was an off day for the Italian Open. It is Jannik Sinner's first event. He actually had a 3-month ban due to some performance-enhancing substances, which allegedly was a accidental application or something like that. We won't get all the way into that. It's always an accident, right?
And his suspension just happened to be during a time in the schedule which did not take him out of any Grand Slam event.
Yes, very interesting. So
yes.
The top-ranked tennis player visited the new Pope on Wednesday, gave him a tennis racket, and offered to play during an off day for Sinner at the Italian Open. Pope Leo, the first American pope, he's an avid tennis player and fan, said earlier in the week he would be up for a charity match when it was suggested by a journalist, but at the time he joked, we can't invite Sinner, as a reference kind of to his name, right? They offered to hit a couple balls. They were in the Vatican's auditorium in the reception room, and Pope Leo looked around at the antiques around. He said, better not.
He's wise beyond his years.
Yes, I probably would make the same choice as well. Yesterday, we were talking a lot about Pete Rose, whether or not he should get into the Hall of Fame. Well, the New York Times did a piece. It was Tyler Kepner, David O'Brien, and Jason Stark. They reached out to 12 current Hall of Famers to get their take on whether or not they think Charlie Hustle should be in the Hall. And nobody really said outright no. I would say it was a pretty supportive group. They had Reggie Jackson, who said no doubt he should get in. A couple teammates of Pete Rose, including Tony Perez, Andre Dawson, were both very supportive.
Yep.
Legendary second baseman Bill Mazeroski, he was not quite as supportive. They asked if he should be in the Hall of Fame, and he laughed. And he said, not right away. I'd make him wait a little bit longer.
That is a joke. He's not waiting longer at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A lot of the more recent era guys like John Smoltz and Billy Wagner basically said he should be in as well.
It's a complicated discussion.
Yes.
It really is a complicated discussion.
Very nuanced.
Gambling from inside the game, man, it's hard to ever reward that.
Yeah.
It is. And I draw the distinction between what Rose did and what the PED users did, in that those people are not calling into question whether or not the competition is legit. And gambling from within the game does. To me, very, very different things.
Yes, not great. Well, he was gambling from within the game, but now it's time for us to do some gambling from outside the game. It's time for us to place bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, before we start, and you're going to go first, Max, I'm going to tell you how you guarantee a Hurricanes win tonight.
Okay.
Capitals are plus money at home, and I am more than willing to donate money to a Carolina Hurricanes victory. So there.
Very nice.
Now, you can go.
Yes, so yesterday I had Leon Draisaitl anytime goal scorer. That loss was a 1-0 gain. Only goal in that game scored by Kasperi Kapanen in overtime. And then my other bet, Scotty Scheffler and Bryson DeChambeau, top 10 round one, including ties. Yet to be determined, but currently not looking great. Scotty Scheffler just finished his round 2 under. He's T14, so some things could shuffle in front of him, but that one not looking like a winner necessarily at this point. Nevertheless, we move on tonight. Hurricanes, Capitals, Game 5. We've been talking a lot about the big dogs in the series maybe needing to score. I'm going to go with an Aho anytime goal scorer plus 195.
By the way, Sebastian Aho, in closeout games in his career, and he's played in 12 of them, 10 goals, 5 assists in closeout games.
Pretty good.
That is pretty good. He does not have a goal in this series yet, so I'll give you an anytime goal scorer from the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Jordan Staal, plus 575. We'll go with the captain. There you go. There's one.
Would like to see that. He's kind of prone to a clutch goal
Yes,
now and
he
again
is.
in the playoffs as well. The other game in the NHL tonight, Stars at Jets, Game 5. Dallas with a 3-1 lead. I am liking the Stars to close this one out. Game 5, going to silence the whiteout, make it a little bit of white noise. It's going to be Stars money line. That's even money, plus 100.
All right, we're going to go with the Dallas Stars to win. Under 5.5 goals, and Mikko Rantanen for 2 or more scoring points. That is 8 plus 885.
Based on how he's played, I could certainly see that coming to fruition.
Yes. He only had 1 in the last game.
Yes. And then finally, I'm going to go back to the PGA Championship, and I'm going to continue to ride with my guy. Again, just finished his round 2 under. The first round right now, 5 shots back of the leader. I'm going to go with Scotty Scheffler to win the PGA Championship. Currently, that is at plus 360, which is very, very short odds.
All right, so much like during the Final Four, I thought really seriously when Duke had a big lead, just to hedge and throw a couple of dollars on Houston to come back and win that game, and I didn't. I really meant yesterday to bet the Celtics to come back and beat the Knicks, which I think they're going to do. Plus 220, you can get it right now. Celtics to win that series at plus 220. We got the Wall of Sound next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Victoria from 99.9 The Fan. I'm with Jerry from Law Tigers. It's writing season. The sun is out like the pollen. One thing that we have to be mindful of is, we don't have these walls around these motorcycles. Tell us about the importance of just being cognizant. It's the season.
You get to the point where you've done everything you should do, and now we have to be cognizant about all the other riders on the road. So in the event that you have an accident, it's often likely that it wasn't your fault. And if you have an accident with injury, one of the things you want is a motorcycle attorney to represent you. And at Law Tigers here in North Carolina, we have 4 motorcycle attorneys, and they all ride. The attorney who has the experience of being a motorcyclist makes a difference when they take your case, A, because they're probably going to understand your injury better than anybody else is. And the injuries tend to be significantly worse.
Thanks again, Jerry. And that, again, is lawtigers.com or 1-800-LAW-TIGERS.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
It is I, Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. Yes, I am back in Raleigh. Do I go downtown with so many places to party? No, I go to the Sharky's place. The good food, the fine drinks, the coldest of beers, and of course, the many, many beautiful people. I always hang at the Sharky's place, the coolest bar in the world, because, well, it was built for me. Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. The Sharky's place, 8800 de Raleigh Road by the Shelley Station.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers the most important high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsor, First Carolina Bank. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
The Carolina RV Super Show is coming to you. Join us at any Camping World in North Carolina or South Carolina, May 15th through the 18th, to shop ridiculous discounts on the best selection of new and used RVs in the Carolinas. Tour new 2025 RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Now Hall all alone. In on Thompson. Hall scores! What a play! What a transition pass! And Taylor Hall puts Carolina back up by 2. It's 3-1. In a fight for it along the boards. Hall reaches for it. He'll get it to Walker. Walker's got Roslovic with him. Walker holds, shoots, and scores! Sean Walker's first postseason goal, and it is a monster. Carolina goes up 4-2 with 3:15 left here in the third.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. 3 over par for Rory McIlroy today. Not ideal. Right now, somebody named, who is it? Ryan something. Gerard. Never heard of him. Ever. Is 7 under par. It honestly, I hate to mock a major championship, but I'm about to. It kind of looks like, one of those off-field PGA Tour events. There's an elevated event, and they're also playing in, like in Puerto Rico. This is what it looks like, that event. Like, not even kidding.
That's kind of what a lot of the players were saying before, too, at the course. Like, the rough isn't super grown up, and obviously it's very soft because of all the rain. And I know, like, just a lot of golf people kind of in the national media are not huge fans of major championships at Quail Hollow. And the leaderboard would kind of support their claims so far, I would say.
I mean, like, these are all great players. I'm not even suggesting in any way that these are not all amazing players.
They could give me 40 strokes and probably still win.
Yeah, right? But the leaderboard is not daunting. It doesn't look like what the Masters gave us. Much smaller field for the Masters, different qualification process. But holy cow. Rory's not out of it at 3 over par. Just isn't out of it at 3 over par. But obviously, I was joking with Will Brinson earlier. Rory needs something in the 65, 64 range tomorrow. He's got to put himself, couple under par for the event. Maybe 3 under par for the event. If he could do something like that, then he's got a chance.
He's shown he could bounce back. I mean, that first round of the Masters, he was 5 or 6 under, and then he completely melted down in round 1 and finished even, and then still stormed back. He overcame himself, dropping strokes again on Sunday, and managed to pull it out. But
Several times.
That's the Rory experience. That's the roller coaster that we signed up for.
It's all right. I'm still riding shotgun on the Rory McIlroy bandwagon. All right, Ben Seltzer is going to be in here with some numbers. We're going to run the numbers. There you go. We're going to run the numbers with Ben Seltzer coming up in about 12 or so minutes. Right now, the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, let's start with Nick Saban, who was on with Paul Feinbaum the other day, discussing the proposed, we thought it was a done deal, the proposed college sports commission that the president is efforting to start up. It would include, I thought I had read that Saban and the one of the chief boosters at Texas Tech were going to co-chair the committee. Either way, here's Nick Saban on with Paul Feinbaum being asked, what do you think about this commission, Nick?
Well, first of all, I don't know a lot about the commission, first of all. Secondly, I'm not sure we really need a commission. I think that, a lot of people know exactly what the issues are in college football and exactly what we need to do to fix them. I think the key to the drill is getting people together so that we can move it forward. So, I'm not opposed to players making money. I don't want anybody to think that. I just think the system that we're, the way it's going right now, it's not sustainable and probably not in the best interest of the student athletes across the board or the game itself. So I think we need to protect the brand and the competitive advantages and disadvantages that are being created right now, and I think we can fix all that. But I think we know how to do it.
Yeah, you know how to do it. You just don't really want to, because the way to fix the system really isn't what Nick wants. Limits, restrictions on movement, all of that stuff, that isn't what's going to happen here. That train left the station a long time ago unless through Congress they completely give college sports antitrust exemption and allow them to do what they want. However, with that would almost certainly have to come collective bargaining, and again, they don't want to do that. So, in Nick's mind, it's easy to fix. We just do this. Legally, you can't do all those things. And by the way, not in the best interest of the players. I'm going to call BS on all of that. All of it. Because what they really want is to limit players' options and how much money they can make. And that is definitely not in the best interest of players. So miss me with that. Let's be honest. The people who want to make these new rules have zero interest in not the welfare, zero interest in the point of view of the players. None. So we got to stop. We got to stop pretending that we're in any way, shape, or form concerned with what the players. What was the whole meeting with the president about if you don't even know about a commission? How did that story start if we don't even know about it? I think he's right. They don't need one. But anyway,
college sports it's getting a little crazy these days.
I'm too cynical about the whole thing. It's pro sports. It's time to start treating it like pro sports. It's time to start paying the players directly, and let's move on. All right, let's get to the Cedric Coward, who is supposed to pop out of the transfer portal from Washington State to Duke, but along the way, he entered his name into the NBA draft. He's at the combine. It has gone well, and I don't believe the portal is going to open for Cedric Coward. Here he is.
It depends. It really depends what I hear. At the end of the day, what I hear is based off of the information, or the decision I'm going to make is based off the information I get. And right now, the information is definitely leaning towards staying in the draft, and I can say that. But at the end of the day, we got to figure out the best decision to make for myself and the best decision to make for my family as I go forward.
Is there a threshold that you feel like, okay, if I'm hearing I'm going to get picked above pick X, I'll stay in the draft?
Not really. I don't really have like a threshold, I guess. Like, there's definitely a range everybody would like to go in. Like, everybody would love to go top 20. That would be great. And if I heard that, like, obviously. But at the end of the day, the draft is so unpredictable. You don't know, like, Dalton Knecht was projected top 10 and then went 17. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't know what could happen. But at the end of the day, for me, it's more of less the spot in terms of the number and more of the spot in terms of the team I go to and how I can make an impact right away.
Yeah, it should be about the team. He's not going to be a lottery pick. He has clearly made a name for himself at the combine, so more than likely he's going to be probably a mid to late first round pick. Maybe Drake Powell will at North Carolina. The latest mock draft I saw, this was before the combine, had both going in the second round, but hey, even if you go in the second round, if you get a guarantee from a team that says we're going to take you because we think you can help us and you can get an NBA contract out of it, that's better than whatever you're going to get in school. It just is. So, all right, one more basketball thing. At the trade deadline in the NBA, the Warriors added Jimmy Butler. Butler, who had not played his way out of Miami, was attractive enough to Golden State because they knew playoff Jimmy could help them with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and some other pieces. They knew the playoff Jimmy is exactly what they needed. And for a while, it looked like it was going to work. And then Steph Curry pulled his hamstring, and then it just became Jimmy Butler. And maybe that's the problem, that Jimmy couldn't do it on his own, but two of them, you can work. Well, didn't work out. Steph Curry got hurt, pulled his hamstring, and that was that. Steve Kerr on losing the series without one of the, 5 or 6 greatest players of all time.
Injuries are, part of the playoffs. I learned a long time ago, the playoffs are really about health and then just guys stepping up and making some big shots, big plays, in key games. That's what decides every series. So we've been on both ends of that. That's just part of it. So there's no sense in dwelling on it. I don't want to take anything away from what Minnesota just accomplished. So no sense in even talking about Steph.
Yeah, except that no Steph meant Jimmy was on his own, and he couldn't do it on his own, which is why he felt like he needed to leave Miami. And now the Warriors, and I've seen this conversation, I agree with it, has the Warriors dynasty window closed? And the answer is yes, that it has closed. They can still be playoff factor-ish, but
yeah.
I mean, Steph is going to be 37 next year.
I think he already is 37.
Yeah, 38 maybe at the end of the year. Butler is up there. Draymond Green is past his sell-by date. Still an effective player, but obviously not the same player he was.
Their best players are aging, and then the rest of their rotation is very...
Yeah.
Hey,
that's what happens when you win.
Yeah.
When you win constantly and you pick at the end of the draft all the time, yeah, it's ultimately going to make it more difficult for you to win. All right, we're going to go to Game 5. We're going to run the numbers with Ben Seltzer. We're going to do that next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's Hockey Night in Carolina playoff edition. It's Game 5 with Washington.
Walker shoots, scores! And it is a monster!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6. Puck Drop at 7.
It's Andrei Svechnikov with it. Bingo! The empty net magic!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hello, friends. Let me tell you about one of the coolest hangouts in the Triangle. X Golf in Cary. Adam Gold here for X Golf, the premier indoor golf experience in North Carolina. Serious high-end simulator play where you and your regular foursome can play Bethpage Black, site of this fall's Ryder Cup, or you can choose from about 60 other world-class tracks, or just hang out, chill with a drink, some great food, watch the game. Incredible night out. McGregor Shopping Center. X Golf in Cary. PlayXGolf.com/Cary.
Boat show and sale at the Car Scott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards May 16th through the 18th. And it's bringing the largest inventory and deepest discount of the year. Save thousands off top brands. On-site financing to get you approved and on the water. Boats in stock and priced to move now. Test ride your boat at delivery. Get in a new boat or upgrade in time for summer. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, May 16th through 18th at the Car Scott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm going to stop and get Cheez-Its on the way home then. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin is producing the program today. My friend Chris also texted me with Dr. Noah Drake from General Hospital. That is Rick Springfield. As far as I know, did we just bump with Kenny Loggins?
Of course.
Yeah. As far as I know, Kenny Loggins was never on a soap opera. As far as I know. All right, we're going to run the numbers with Ben Seltzer. I think I stumbled upon a title for the segment. Ben Seltzer, you worked for NHL.com, NHL Network?
Yeah.
So you worked with EJ Radick.
Yes.
EJ says hi. We just spoke to him earlier this week.
There you go.
He is one of my favorites. All right.
He's a good guy.
He is an awesome guy. Gosh, I've been talking to him for about 20 years. Back when he was with ESPN, long time ago.
You still beat me there.
It's because I'm significantly older than you.
I may look young, but I'm still a little bit older.
It's still. All right, we're Game 5 tonight. Carolina with an opportunity to close this series out. I want Saturday off.
So I'll go there. How we usually end the segments? Give me a prediction.
Right.
So let's start. That way, all right.
Going to start with a prediction?
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
A kind of prediction.
Right.
Okay. Closeout games in the Rod era.
Right.
So we're talking 2019. Strictly best of sevens.
Okay.
I'm seeing the Canes 8-5.
Okay.
Of those 8 victories, 5 have come via overtime.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
6 of those 8 wins by 1 goal. 8 of the 13.
The overtime.
Well,
all have
there's
to be
also a
1 goal.
regulation win by 1 goal. So, my prediction is it will be tight. That little predictor there. But anyway, 8 of 13 have been decided by 1 goal. Canes are 5-1 in OT in the closeout games.
Really?
Okay.
They closed out Washington in 19 in overtime.
Brock McGinn.
Double overtime.
We have a repeat scorer in the 5 OT wins.
Okay.
Sebastian Aho. He has 2.
Yes.
So, got me thinking a little bit like, has there ever been a player to have 3 overtime goals in a closeout game? It's pretty impressive. So just looking back, there's 65 players that have 3+ overtime goals.
Okay.
Do you know how many players have 3 overtime closeout goals?
3
of the 65.
I would say none.
Well, it's close. 2.
Okay.
And Aho could join that list,
right.
Today, but hopefully today for your sake.
He's the only Hurricane with 2.
Yeah. The other 2 are Patrick Kane. He has 3.
Nice.
5 all time. So 3 of his 5 are closeouts.
Okay.
And former Kane, Martin Jelena.
Marty Jelena. He's on the Hurricanes list because he did it for he scored the goal that eliminated the Maple Leafs in 2002.
Yep, I have that right there. Eastern Conference Final, Maple Leafs.
That the last time the Maple Leafs threatened to get to a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, well, we could talk Leafs another time.
Too bad for them.
So my prediction will be overtime.
Okay.
And let's do a little sprinkle on Aho.
An overtime goal with Sebastian Aho scoring the game winner. We could retire.
There you go.
We could. All right. I like it. I like it. It's better than the emotional hedge on the Capitals.
There you go.
I'm willing to donate the money.
You do a little bit of all.
We could. That would be cool. Aho has been, even though he hasn't scored in this series. I think he's played fine. He hasn't scored in the series. He's been pretty good in closeout games.
This is where he shines, right? So we're looking at the numbers during the break. Our numbers were a little bit off, but you included the qualifying round in 2020. I was just looking strictly best of 7.
Okay.
So my numbers, 13 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. You had, 14 games, 10 goals.
10 goals, 5 assists because he had 2 and 1 in that closeout game against the Rangers.
He's still really good. That's the point. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the other, great Hurricanes on these teams, Svechnikov, 9 games, 5 goals.
Really?
Yeah.
All
Seth
right.
Jarvis, 10 games, 2 goals, 7 assists.
Okay.
So look for these big guns.
They need them
in this game. Yeah.
They have not necessarily been like all over the score sheet. Aho does not. Aho's got 2 assists. Jarvis, I believe, has a goal and an assist. He might have 3 points. He might have a goal and 2 assists.
Yeah.
The Hurricanes. Do you have anything on the Canes' depth in this series?
So yeah, I just had like a little general thoughts. With the Canes on the brink of going to the Eastern Conference Final. I was just thinking, through 2 rounds, the Canes, they're like a Marvel or a DC character. And let me explain. With their power being absorbing the other opponent's strength.
Okay.
So, Devils, their strength entering the playoffs was their special teams. They were top 3 in both PP and PK.
Right.
What did the Canes do to them? 0 for 5 on the power play for the Devils and a 68% on the PK.
Right.
The Capital strength, Ovi, and their depth of scoring. So, what have they done?
Yeah.
Ovi, he has 1 goal.
5-on-3 power play goal.
The Caps, they had 5 25-plus goal scorers. They have 6 goals in this series through 4 games.
Right.
Whereas the Canes, 16 of 19 skaters with a point. 10 players have a goal.
Yeah.
So they took that strength of the Caps. They're just like, they already have their own powers, but they're absorbing more when they play their other opponents.
I like the
it's
superhero.
Insane. So, yeah.
I like that very much. I
just
feel
hit
better
me.
about tonight.
It honestly just hit me like 2 hours ago, so
No,
I'll be upfront.
That is fine. So, I wrote that down as well. 16 Canes with at least 1 point.
Yep.
12 with at least 2. 10 with at least 1 goal. And during the regular season, Carolina was not getting a ton of production from the blue line. They have 8 goals in the
you've
playoffs.
been all over that, yeah.
8 goals in the playoffs from defensemen.
It's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
They are deep. You know, you lose Rantanen, go on like he didn't want to stay or whatever it was.
Right.
But they gain a good young player in Logan Stankoven who's contributed, and they're still a deep team. Their identity is still there. They don't have that big gunner in Rantanen or last year in Gensel, but they're still able to get it done because they're so deep.
Yeah.
You know, everyone throughout their lineup. You point out the defensemen, the forwards, all 1 through 4 are doing their job. If it's production or it's hitting, blocking shots, anything. Yeah. And Freddie Anderson's been standing on his head.
On the road in the playoffs, Anderson obviously has been good. I think he's 3-1 on the road.
Right.
Does he get? I guess he gets. Does he get credit for the win in?
Depends on when he left. We'd have to take a look.
Game 4.
I think it depends.
I think he gets credit for the win.
What was the score at that point? Did the Canes have?
I think it was
3 goals at that point.
Yeah, they already had 3.
So he probably gets.
I believe he got credit for that win.
Okay.
So either way, he has played really well. He's got a 9. I have this written down here. Freddie on the road. First of all, on the road this season, Anderson overall was 8-4-1, 252 goals against, 904 save percentage. But his last 3 road starts were all horrendous. Seriously, the
regular season, right?
The
whole Canes were
exactly. Yeah. He got blown. He got schooled in Boston, Ottawa the last game, but Washington in between, where actually Carolina had a lead, and then Washington came storming back. Right. Freddie didn't play great in that game, but if you took out those 3 games, and I realize you can't, but his save percentage on the road to that point was .918, and he was 8-2. So he's done very well on the road. 2-2 with a .910 save percentage.
I mean, we talked
on the
about
road
this
in
a
the
little bit
postseason.
too. Like if we were to pick a Conn Smythe winner from each team, he would be the leading candidate for the Canes right now.
He would be the leading candidate.
Yeah.
Andrei Svechnikov would be pushing from behind, though.
Well, there's 2 more rounds. People often forget this. Conn Smythe is all 4 rounds, not just the Cup final.
Correct.
Svech still has time.
He does. Do you have something else you want to go to?
Yeah, just going the opposite end, the Caps. So in elimination games, their last 4 elimination games, they are 0-4. Kind of comes with the territory. I mean, since 2019 or since 2018 when they won the Cup, they haven't gotten out in the first round since this past year. So it's been bad. Ovi in those last 4 games, 0 points, 8 total shots. If you go last 2 elimination games, 0 points, obviously, 1 shot.
Whoa.
So not the best from Ovi. But if we look overall, I mean, Caps are 15-14 in the Ovi era in elimination games. Ovi has 13 goals, 11 assists in 29 games. So maybe there's something there. If you want to look at just them playing at home, they're 4-1 postseason on home ice.
Right.
If you go back to the regular season, they're 12-3 in their last 15 home games. Here's an interesting stat. In the 5 games at home for the Caps, they have trailed for 2 minutes and 31 seconds.
That's it?
Yeah. If you were to put that in a percentage, 0.8%.
Wow.
At home. They've led for 61% of the game, tied 38%. Just versus the Canes, 0% time trailed. It's because the one time they lost, it was an overtime, game's over.
Exactly.
So if you want to point to some positives for the Caps, which I know we don't want to do.
Because I don't want to work Saturday.
They've been very good at home, but we also know the Canes have been very good at closing out series. They're
I like the second part of that.
They're 8-0 when they're up 3-1, which you've touched on earlier.
Yeah, look, Carolina. I'm pretty sure Carolina will play a good game tonight. If it looks like Game 1 looked, which I don't even expect, I think I would accept what it looked like in Game 2.
Yeah,
where I thought Carolina was maybe not significantly better, but they were I think slightly better team. And just didn't get anything to show for it early.
Sure.
Washington got 2 goals. The power play goal to start the second period.
And they got an empty netter. So
yeah, exactly.
Really, that was what, a 2-1 loss. So
yeah, Washington has been anemic. They have been
6
anemic.
total goals.
6 total goals in 4 games. They do have the power play goal, 2 power play goals. One of them with 5-on-3.
Yeah.
But the Canes penalty kill.
That's been on point.
25 of 27 in the postseason. I think that's good. I think 25 out of 27 is good in 9 games. So, well, hopefully that will continue.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to make a prediction of the game? Yes.
I mean, we started with that, right?
Yeah, we did.
I'm saying
Aho.
overtime. Yeah.
Aho and overtime. Take it.
And if they lose, if the Canes lose, that'll be my prediction for Game 6 and Game 7. We'll just go with that. It's gonna happen.
I don't want any more overtimes.
Well, that's what they do.
I don't. You're right. You're right. All right. I thank you very much. We ran the numbers. I like that. Ran the numbers with Ben Seltzer, the stats guy. Thank you. When we come back, Cam Ward will tell us what he has liked most about Frederick Anderson. Next.
From the heels,
touchdown Carolina,
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
There's no party like an all-star party. The NASCAR All-Star Race roars into North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's back this weekend for a no-holds-barred, old-fashioned mountain showdown. NASCAR's biggest stars going for all the money and bragging rights under the lights at one of racing's most iconic tracks. Metal will bend, dreams will end, and the fun? Well, that doesn't stop all weekend. Kick your May into high gear. Get your tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. During this sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Here at NC Cyber Academy, screens are a good thing. At our K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school, your child can find a flexible and personalized education that lets them take a brain break when they need it, but also provides structured one-on-one time with our amazing teachers. But we also power down our laptops for in-person activities with fellow students to build community. Visit myncca.com to learn how we can set your child up for success in the classroom, at college, and in their careers.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family.
With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
May is Older Americans Month, and AARP North Carolina is working to flip the script on aging. From helping you stay physically and financially secure to making sure our state is great for all ages, AARP is right here in your backyard, offering local events and advocacy to improve lives and communities. Let AARP help you get the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Adam Gold.
Soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin producing this program today. So you and I are fans of major championship golf.
Of course.
You're locked in. What jumps out to you? Bryson DeChambeau has started. What jumps out to you about Bryson DeChambeau right now?
I'm not seeing. I haven't seen any of his shots.
Oh, you haven't? I just watched him. He had a gigantically long putt for par that he missed, but he's got facial hair.
Oh wow.
He's got a beard. He's got a beard going. I kind of dig it.
That's the only foray he hasn't made. First he had the funny hat.
Right.
Then he switched to the normal hat. He's got the goofy clubs. Now he's going for the facial hair. I mean, he's trying to do a Scotty Scheffler thing. It was last year, 2 years ago, he showed up with the beard and started dominating. Maybe he's trying to do that.
I kind of dig Scotty's beard. I think it makes him look tough. By the way, Ryan Gerard ended up bogeying 17 and 18. He shot 66. He is 5 under par. Talk about an own goal here by me, right? What did I say before? I never heard of him. Where is Ryan Gerard from, Max?
He's from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Where did he go to school?
That would be the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Could somebody pay attention more? Gold, you dope. We got a local kid in the PGA in his home state, and I don't know where he's from. Like, I never heard of this guy. I apologize to Ryan Gerard. And his family and his friends and his teammates at UNC. I apologize.
I'm throwing an apology to Bill Belichick there.
No, I'm not apologizing to Bill Belichick.
Just for his affiliation.
I'm not apologizing to Bill Belichick at all. Anyway, it's very embarrassing to not know a local kid and not know that he went to the University of North Carolina.
Another fairly local player, JT Paulsen, currently T6,
Hickory,
3 under.
Hickory, North Carolina. That I knew. A friend of ours, Alec Campbell, used to work on this show with me. He and JT, I think they didn't go to high school together. I think Alec was a little bit ahead of him in high school, but they're both from Hickory, so he knows of JT Poston. A few years ago, Poston was, I think he'd probably finish in the top 20 on the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
So,
very, very solid player.
Good, solid, rank-and-file PGA Tour player. So, and he has had a good day.
And just one more shout to one more Raleigh, North Carolina kind of relevant player, Akshay Bhatia.
Yep.
Shot 71 under, tied for 22nd after the first round. So far, obviously a lot of afternoon players still kind of just getting out there, but pretty solid performance there, a little 1 under.
I liked him as a top 20, Akshay. I thought he was going to be a major factor at the Masters. I really did. But didn't work out. I thought I think he let the second round get away from him a little bit at Augusta. All right, should we talk a little bit more hockey, a little bit more Game 5? All right, so here's the deal. Cam Ward was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, the MVP of the playoffs. He didn't start the playoffs. Martin Gerber started the playoffs, but Cam Ward saved Carolina's bacon in Game 3 in Montreal. They win that series. He goes on to win the Conn Smythe. So this morning, because schedules were crazy, I talked to Cam and asked him, because he watches, he's at all the games, what have you liked the most about Frederik Andersen?
Well, I see a lot of confidence. He's definitely been really sharp. I think he's clearly on top of his game right now, and has really been the Canes' best player in the playoffs, and likely the best goaltender in the entire NHL playoffs. So it's as a former goaltender, it's fun to watch. Just knowing a goaltender is feeling it and on, and hopefully he can keep going the way that he's going right now.
Considering Freddie is so calm all the time, how can you tell the difference between Freddie confident? Because visibly he looks the same to me, but you obviously pick out other things. So what is it about it?
Well, like when I watch him and see him make those difficult saves look kind of ho-hum and easy, that's when you know a goaltender is just feeling it and he's on. Making those difficult saves, looking easy, and it's right from the drop of the puck. He just looks like he's dialed in right from the get-go and sharp with his movements, in control, and he's always been like that, where he's just positionally sound and makes smooth, easy movements, and he's just literally been on, and it's great to see, and I'm super happy for him because let's not forget he's been through a lot in his career, and he's not a young chicken anymore, and playing some of the best hockey that he's probably played in his career. So it's a tip of the cap to him, and have a lot of respect for the way that he's playing right now.
Yeah, and the organization has certainly showed a little faith by giving him a contract extension before these playoffs are over. Cam Ward is joining us here. The stakes are so high. How do you stay calm? I mean, it's his nature, but you remember. How do you stay calm in this situation?
Well, you take it one day at a time. I know that's cliche, but it's the truth. And, you're able to reset after each and every game, because there's a lot of emotions that, come playoff time, and you got to be able to, especially as a goaltender, to kind of have that, keep that low pulse and, deep breathing and just stay in focus. So, obviously the Canes are in a great situation right now, but it's important to not to take your foot off the gas and just keep it going.
Cam Ward is joining us here on the 5th floor at Lenovo Center. There's a big picture. I'm sure you've seen it. Your save on Fernando Pisani in the 2006 Stanley Cup Finals. I believe it's period 3, and it's a 2-1 game at that point. Canes went on to win it 3-1 when Justin Williams put it into the empty net. How do you not get so pumped up after a save like that? Because Freddie makes a save in the first period. I think it's Game 3 on Wilson. He makes a couple of great saves early on in Game 4. How do you not get pumped up to the point where you can't, go back to being resting heartbeat of like 6 for Andersen?
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's just it comes with the position. You, like I said, you just can't let your emotions get too high, even though you are, competitive and want it so bad. Sometimes when you're pressing it too hard, that's when things get to be a little bit too difficult for yourself. So, you don't want to put too much tension and play loose. And it kind of goes back to what my dad used to tell me growing up. He said, the more fun you have, the better you do. And at the end of the day, that's, that's what you want to do. It's a game, and go out there and have some fun and, make it happen.
On the road and at home can be different. It's different in terms of last change. It's different in terms of face-offs. Is it different for a goaltender, home and road?
Obviously, the atmosphere is going to be different. I used to love playing on the road, and especially in the playoffs, where it's a hostile environment. The crowd's really into it, and as a goaltender, there's nothing greater on the road to quiet the crowd and making a great save, especially early on. To get your team into it, and it's going to be that case. Tonight, Washington's got their backs against the wall. They're going to be throwing everything at the Canes, and it's going to be important to get off to another good start, and that likely will mean that Freddie's going to have to make a timely save, which he has all playoffs. So you can expect that to be the case tonight too.
And we can expect them to try to make life difficult for Anderson. Cam Ward, what would bother you as a goaltender in a situation like this? I mean, obviously traffic bothers you, but what else should Freddie be expecting tonight from Washington?
Probably to be touched, to be quite honest. You kind of saw it. I was watching the Toronto Florida game last night, and you could see that Toronto was trying to touch Bobrovsky, and it wasn't bothering them just because the score was so lopsided. But I would expect that to be the case from the Capitals to try to be in the crease and just touching Freddie, whether it be nothing to get a penalty or anything like that, just to let them know that they're there. And I expect them to handle it really well. And it's important that the Canes don't engage really in those kind of things, because they're not built that way. So just keep doing what they're doing. They're obviously really well coached and playing their system to a T, and it's frustrated the Caps so far in this series, and they just got to continue to do that.
A couple of more quick things for Cam Ward, and then we will let him go. What do you like about the way they're playing in front of him?
Well, they're eliminating time and space. That's like I said, with the way that the Canes play their system, they really clamp and take away their skilled players from really having that time and space to do anything. Obviously they got to stay disciplined and not let Ovechkin wander around for 2 minutes on the power play and get that shot off. But I just love how they're just letting Freddie see the puck, and if there's a rebound, they're right there. Because like I said, they're always on top of the Caps players, and it's every single shift, and that's a testament to Roddy, and it's a testament to the players. They literally just play the system to a T, and it's working right now.
It's not boring, is it? And I know the narrative going around is that the Hurricanes are playing boring hockey. I thought speed and tenacity was exciting.
Hey, winning's not boring. Winning's fun, and so if that's the way that the Canes got to play, and they're winning hockey games like they are right now, we all love that. And you wouldn't get that sense. I'm at the games with my son and watching, and the atmosphere again is just one of the best in the NHL, and I certainly don't think the fans think it's boring at all.
Were you there when Andre scored the goal off the faceoff in Game 3?
Yeah, I definitely was there. I've been there watching everything along the way, and I like to think that I might be a little bit busy on Saturday, so hopefully they take care of business tonight, so I don't have to be there on Saturday.
I need a day off. Don't they have any? I mean, please, I need a day off. All right, final thing for you, Cam. Walk me through what your routine would be on a day like this. Is it exactly like a regular season game, or do there have to be certain differences?
No, there's no differences. I mean, these guys are, this is what they've been doing their whole lives, and they have their routines, and they know what works for them. And, it's just continue to do what you do and how you prepare and what makes you, play your best. Obviously you're a little bit more focused, a little bit more dialed in, just knowing the stakes. And, but that's something that, brings excitement, and it brings goosebumps. These guys, to be successful in the playoffs, you got to want to be in those situations and And when you're in those situations, that brings the best out of you. And so, continue to do what you're doing and stick with what works.
Cam Ward, Conn Smythe, Stanley Cup champion. Thank him very much for his time. Sebastian Aho is 9 Carolina all-time in closeout games under Rod Brindamore. Shouldn't say all-time. Carolina in closeout games since Rod Brindamore is the head coach. 9-5. They are 3-3 on the road. Sebastian Aho in those closeout games, and this does include the Game 3 in the bubble when Carolina beat the Rangers. 10 goals, 5 assists, 14 games played. Point a game, which is basically what he has been in the postseason for Carolina. It's a shade under a point a game, but it would be like 0.9 something points a game. That's what you're looking for out of your stars. And we'll get back to that in the rewind in just a second with Greg Wyshynski. So the ACC meetings are going on. They're actually, I think they've wrapped up today or yesterday. They might have wrapped up for 3 days in Amelia Island, Florida. And yesterday there was a lot of noise about the college football playoff and Jim Phillips and Bubba Cunningham and others saying what I believe are the right things about the playoff. In that right now there is a power struggle. They're going to go to 16. They're not going to go to 14. They're going to go to 16. This year is going to remain at 12. And then for the following year, it will be 16. I've never understood why they would go to 14 when we know they're going to end at 16 anyway. So they're going to get right to 16. And frankly, the number should have stayed at 4, but it's not. So we might as well do this thing right. It'll be 16. But the sad part is that it's not enough. We know who's playing the best football. We know who makes the most money, which theoretically should enable them to play the best football. And that is done in the SEC. And to an extent, at least the top of the Big Ten. The fact that those two leagues are demanding guaranteed spots is mind-blowing to me. Because here's the real truth of the matter is that if the SEC is demanding 4 guaranteed spots, well, the Big Ten's going to get that. And the ACC and the Big 12 are going to get their guarantees because that's what's going to happen. Notre Dame is basically guaranteed a spot, and the group of 5 best team is going to be guaranteed a spot. Why would the SEC willingly agree to take fewer spots in this playoff?
It's a good question.
I don't understand. You play the best football. It's not a debate. Nobody with a brain is going to debate which conference year in, year out plays the best football. I heard Chip Patterson mention this yesterday in the show. He said if the SEC does well enough in that first weekend, what did he say? Bud Elliott said they could get 8 teams in the 12-team playoff. I'm not even going to argue. They could. They play the best football. It's okay to admit that. The reality is what's the reality? The reality is one thing. The reality is they have all the toys. They're going to make the rules. But what would be the best for the system is not guaranteed spots. What would be the best for the system is that you would have the 5 guarantees, the 4 champions plus the group of 5 champion. Those would be the only 5 spots promised. Seeding would be done after all the spots are taken care of, and then we seed the field. Those should be the only 5 spots promised. Everything else, the other 11 spots, should be best teams, regardless of conference. And I have said this before, and I will say it again. I don't care if the next 11 teams all come from the same league. I don't care. If we're going to have this, let's have the best teams in the tournament. That's it. I don't want the ACC to have 3 guaranteed spots. I don't want
they definitely didn't deserve that this past year.
Right, well, here's the weird part. I actually think that Miami deserved a spot over Alabama, and somehow the debate became between Alabama and Indiana, right? Which that made no sense to me. Miami, who lost twice, lost to better teams than Alabama did. I'm not suggesting that they're better than Alabama. I was just suggesting that in the grand scheme of things, well, the debate we're having, Miami was a more deserving team than Alabama. But I wasn't arguing for Miami either. I was arguing about the idiocy of that discussion. We don't need automatic bids. What we need are the best teams. End of story. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Max. All right. Let's get to a rewind. Justin Thomas is +4. What's going on?
All the top-ranked players are kind of struggling, and all the kind of middle-tier guys are tearing it up.
It is. It's like the Wells Fargo. All right, Greg Wyshynski, ESPN, senior NHL writer. Very simply, what has been the difference, Canes, Caps?
Smothering Carolina defense, puck possession, Freddie Anderson, take your pick. It's the moment for me that really kind of encapsulates the series was probably last game when the Capitals had that 4-minute power play and can't even enter the zone. When you're able to do that against this Capitals team, then it's pretty obvious that you've got this thing well in hand. And look, I think there's a very good chance we could actually push this thing to 6.
Yeah.
But then, obviously probably ends there with the way the Carolinas played on home ice. But, just the ability for this team to roll 4 lines, 3 deep pairings, know what you're getting out of all of them, and play the kind of defensive game that they've been known to play in the playoffs against the Capitals team that, has some pop to it, but not necessarily a high level of offensive depth, I think has been the story in the series.
Greg Wyshynski joined us earlier. Look, there's a Carolina. I'm trying to think of when we talked about this. Carolina is going to need their best players to do something in the series. Andre's got the goal in Game 3. We haven't played a lot of games. Only played 4 games. And their best players have been good. But Sebastian Aho doesn't have a goal in the series. Seth Jarvis has, I believe, 1. Andre's got 1. They need their best players to impact tonight's game. If Carolina gets any production at all out of Aho, Jarvis, Svechnikov, it's a wrap. That's what they need. Those guys play well, it's a wrap, and everybody's got Saturday off. And then you can, go to the mall. What would you be, Max, what will you be doing Saturday night if there's no Hurricanes hockey?
Saturday night, I don't know. I know all day I'll be sitting on the couch watching golf.
I think napping after the rest of that. I appreciate your old soul, Max Gorin. Now I don't get you tomorrow. I get Graham Hills back. You did a great job. Thank you very much. Better than the host. I'm Adam. We'll see everybody.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's